BBC Sounds app. On your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Norfolk.
And on your radio.
The sound of Norfolk is
BBC Radio Norfolk.
2 o'clock, BBC News for Norfolk with Matthew Gudgeon. Norfolk Police say identifiable data of around 1,200 victims, witnesses and suspects has been released by mistake. The material relates to serious cases, including domestic incidents, sexual offences and hate crimes. The information was sent out in error with Freedom of Information request responses between April 2021 and March 2022. BBC reporter Mark Lobel has more.
Norfolk and Suffolk constabularies say that so far that they found nothing to suggest that the data has been accessed by anyone outside of policing. What they've also said is that anyone who has been affected by this, anyone whose data will be within those hidden files essentially, will be contacted by letter, phone, or they will be contacted in person by the end of September. And there has been an apology by Suffolk Police's temporary Assistant Chief Constable Eamon Bridger. He's apologised for the incident and has said that he sincerely regrets any concern it may have caused the people of Norfolk and Suffolk.
A man who lived at a Great Yarmouth guest house is among 3 people who've been charged with spying for Russia. 45-year-old Orlin Rusev, alongside another man and a woman, are all Bulgarian nationals. They were remanded in custody in February and their trial is set to open at the Old Bailey in the new year. The latest official figures show wages have grown at their quickest rate in 22 years. The Office for National Statistics say between April and June, average salaries were 7.8% higher than in the same period last year. Black smoke has been seen billowing from a wind turbine 1.5 miles off the Norfolk coast. Beachgoers at Great Yarmouth were shocked to see one of the turbines on the Scroby Sands wind farm on fire. It's been confirmed no one was hurt and the fire's now under control. David Young is one of those who saw what happened.
I went to go in for me swim and I noticed it was on fire at the top. It's now on fire at the bottom as well. No one's been near it, so I think it's gone down, if you see what I mean. That's where the smoke's coming out of the hole of the door, if you know what I mean.
Norfolk are chasing 180 to beat Suffolk at Manor Park. Brett Stolworthy claimed 5 wickets as Suffolk collapsed from 98 for no loss to 156 all out earlier. So the target for Norfolk 180 and they're currently 42 for 2. And the UK's first Eurovision contest, Patricia Breeden, has died. She was 88. She was one of 10 acts at the song contest in Frankfurt in 1957. And she sung this one called All. Could have been written for Stephen Bumfrey, couldn't it? She finished 7th out of the 10 in Frankfurt all those years ago, Patricia Breeden, who's died. Norfolk's weather, dry and sunny this afternoon, 23 the high. For an update anytime, tell a smart speaker to play BBC News for Norfolk.
We're going in, men.
The sound of Norfolk.
and all the music you love. Stephen Bumfrey, BBC Radio Norfolk.
My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does she really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out the door? Don't try to fight the feeling, 'cause the thought alone is killing me right now. makes cool? Love the exception. So why yo, are we so in denial when we know we're not happy here? Y'all don't wanna hear me, you just wanna dance. Don't want to meet your daddy. Just want you in my caddy. Don't want to meet your mama. Just want to make you come. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Hey, alright now, fellas. Yeah. Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. I can't hear you. I say what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. Alright. Okay, now ladies. Now we gon' break this thing down in just a few seconds. Now don't have me break this thing down for nothing. Now I wanna see y'all on y'all baddest behavior. Lend me some sugar. I am your neighbor. Here we go. Shake it, 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 shake it like a Polaroid picture. Hey, shake it, 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 sugar, shake it like a Polaroid. Now all Beyonce's and Lucy Lou's, and baby dolls, get on the floor. Get on the floor. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Sugar, shake it, sugar, shake it, sugar, shake it, shake it, sugar, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Thank you very much to Kaylee Poacher for the rewind hour. Loved a bit of Angel Fingers there, and Susie Quattro, always a favourite with the boys, but with her enormous low-hanging bass guitar. And nice to hear a little bit of David Essex. Richard Pearce is in the studio with us. We were just talking about what a gorgeous man he was.
Oh, yes.
And
lovely eyes and a smile and still.
Yeah. But
I hope I'm as good as that when I'm his age.
He's the only man I know who even talks out of tune. In fact, when he's singing, I always thought he sounded a bit like Frank Spencer after a night out.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
Betty, I've got a little bit of trouble. You can imagine it, can't you?
My oldest sister really fancied him, you know.
I hope she's not listening.
No.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to. Well, you did put a little bit of backing music on here, so let's do that, shall we? Let's live up a little bit. So, good afternoon to you. Producer Sam Day and I have got a show full of surprises. Most of them for me, really. I haven't got a clue what's coming up over the next 4 hours. But please do join us. Stick around. As you may be aware, this is my last show at BBC Radio Norfolk. It's been quite an amazing journey, actually, and been very touched by all the text messages and tweets and what have you coming through. So each one of those goes a long way with me. So what we wanted to do this afternoon is just share a few moments, extra moments, with some of the people who've made this show a happy place to work. Some of the people, familiar voices that you'd have heard all over the years, and some of those who brought us some excellent guests to the airwaves on this programme. It has been an absolute delight when you consider that, you know, you get a phone call from Jane on reception saying, John Hurt's in reception for you, Stephen, if you'd like to pop downstairs. Well, can you take that call from Hayley Mills? It was all a bit like that. You can't imagine just how brilliant a feeling that is. So stick around. We will do the lyrical headline very soon. Pete Goodrum's going to be on the show very soon, just looking back at some of the things we've done over the past few years. But as I say, Richard Pearce. I've done the disc jockey thing now. I can stop the music. Got Richard Pearce in the studio. So, and it's all about chance meetings, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I don't know to what I owe the honour and privilege of being on your final show, old boy. It's been a brilliant 11 years that I've known you as well. And you know, we met by chance on an ISDN line that my publicist had set up. I was doing 15 interviews with the BB, with lots of different local radios in 2012. We spoke, and you liked the sound of me for some totally obscure reason.
Thordis Fredrickson, who was then producing, so we must get him in the studio. Must get him in. I said, do we have to? Must get him in. And you've been a regular on the show for all these years.
I know, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful. I've been very fortunate. I do have something for you, but that can wait till a bit later as a surprise. And You know, I mean, you're one of the reasons I moved to Norwich, and now you're stopping the radio,
I'm sorry
mate.
about that.
It's all right, I know where you live. Well, I think we've both grown as men. I was thinking about this on the way in, and when we first met, not on air, we wouldn't speak about male mental health and all this sort of stuff. And over the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've started speaking really openly about it. But although you and I do speak about it, there's still a massive stigma attached to mental health, poor mental health, especially where men are concerned. But that's one of the main things that I take away from the time I've been lucky enough to share with you, is that we've both grown as men, I think.
And a lot of guys listening to the programme have been in touch and helped us along as well with issues
They
like
have,
that.
they have.
And
It's been fun.
yeah, I know. So last show, you'll hear this a couple of times through the afternoon. Just to say, elephant in the room. I decided now was the time to leave the BBC. I've been thinking about sort of stepping down for a while, and what with all the changes up and coming, I thought, well, now is the right opportunity for me, and I'll be leaving with a big smile on my face, and with 20 or so years of very, very happy memories. So I won't simply repeat what everyone else has been saying, and what everybody else is thinking. I'll just leave it there and press on. We'll have a little bit of music. Then we'll have we'll have a lyrical headline, and we'll chat a bit more. Richard Pearce in the studio. You'll hear Pete Goodrum very, very soon, and plenty of other guests along the way.
But that don't coincide with the
one day, mark my words, Nick Lowe and Cruel to Be Kind of BBC Radio Norfolk. I'll update you with the very latest on the county's roads very soon. But first, this Tuesday afternoon, the lyrical headline where we examine the words to a popular song by a well-known band, all soloist, and then carefully fiddle and indeed faddle with them to produce a news bulletin-style story. Listen carefully to our cunning clue and simply identify the song and name that act. Guess correctly and an experience of almost indescribable euphoria will be yours until about 3:45. Our chief wordy correspondent today is Andrew Sinclair. He's just sent us this story. Andrew.
A royal figure has said that you make him live, and when it comes to whatever this world can give to them, you're all that they see. After calling you honey, witnesses claim they called you the closest companion they've ever had, and you've been with them for such a long time. Further reports suggest you're their sunshine, and statistics prove that those feelings are true. BBC Radio Norfolk, that's your lyrical headline.
For the afternoon show, it's a moment of what gravitas. Andrew Sinclair finally on the lyrical headline. For Andrew Sinclair, it's a case of so it's come to this. Call our free phone lyrical headline hotline number on 0800 389 7321. Text Norfolk and then your answer to 81333. Standard message rates will apply. Or WhatsApp Norfolk and then your answer to 08000 321 333. I'm not quite sure when I'll give you the right answer to this one. It'll be slightly later in the programme, but here's the clue, just ahead of the very latest on the roads.
A royal figure has said that you make him live, and when it comes to whatever this world can give to them, you're all that they see. After calling you honey, witnesses claim they called you the closest companion they've ever had, and you've been with them for such a long time. Further reports suggest you're their sunshine, and statistics prove that those feelings are true. BBC Radio Norfolk, that's your lyrical headline.
Time now is very nearly 17 minutes past 2, and so on to the roads. And just one thing popping up on the screen at the moment, an accident has partially blocked the A149 Queen Elizabeth Way in Kings Lynn, near the Jubilee roundabout, that is. Checking out the speed sensors for the rest of the county, and all would seem to be well at this point. If you do spot anything else, and you can update me safely, it's 0800 389 7321.
Breakfast on BBC Radio Norfolk.
I think a lot of people drive and don't need them, and they do block spaces in car parks, so they take 2 spaces.
You should be free to what you want, have what you want. You shouldn't be dictated to people.
Your choice of car, and if that's what suits your family situation.
We are working behind the scenes hard to implement some live helpline hours, and hopefully towards the end of the year that will be something that we'll be able to roll out.
So if you do get caught in a rip current, the safest thing to do, and what the RNI recommend you to do, is to float to live. So get into a big star float position on your back, tilt your head back, take some nice deep breaths, wave with one hand and shout for help.
Back tomorrow from 6.
Take us with you on the BBC Sounds app.
The sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
I always think it sounds like some indie band.
Yes. But that was Olivia Rodriguez with Vampire. Like I said, quite a lot to squeeze in today. You're going to stay with us for the duration, aren't you?
If you wish me to.
Richard
Yes,
Pearce,
of course.
local
An
author,
honour.
broadcaster. How's things at Radio Stradbroke?
They're good. We've been plugging your final show today, actually, all over our station, because you made us a few jingles as well,
that's
which we really
cool,
appreciate.
crikey,
And you play them all the time. I mean, the one you did for Marty's 70th birthday, he's cut it down into a 30-second intro that he plays at the top of his show every time he's on, and I think that's really cool. And we're really grateful to you.
I used to love making the jingles.
Oh, good,
really did.
because we didn't pay you.
Anyway, I played that one for, well, I've got to say, hi BBC Radio Norfolk, me and my mum Helen and Dad Graham on the way to Cromer, enjoying the tunes. We'll have that one on us. Look, will you stick with us?
Yes,
we'll have
that's very kind of
plenty
you.
of good of it be here, plenty of time to chat a little bit later on. Also, I'm very happy to say, I'm very touched. I really am at the number of messages coming through today. So if we can't read them all out in one hit, you will bear with us, won't you? But it's honestly, you're making my day. You really, really are. Lyrical headline going well. We'll update you with that very soon. Pete Goodrum on the way in a mo.
Driving, you're behind the steering wheel.
Radio Norfolk, Stephen Bumfrey here with the afternoon show for the very last time, and we couldn't do a last show without bringing back one of the most popular guests on the programme over, 10, 11 years, Pete Goodrum.
Good afternoon, and yes, here we are on our last show. I know.
But it isn't the end.
No, it's not. We'll talk about that a bit more later on, I think, but it's not the end, no. But anyway, look, before we get emotional, let's go back to where we left off last week. Telly. When I look back over what we've done over the last few years, we have talked a lot about telly. We talked a lot about kids' telly, but we've also talked about grown-up. We've done programmes about the game shows, about the soaps. We covered Saturday night telly. And we looked at pop music on telly. That got everybody going, didn't it? And, the golden era of that really was the 60s, I suppose, Top of the Pops in its absolute heyday, all of that. But the thing that got everybody going the most, and I think I can say this, having looked back over the messages and the reactions and all the rest of it, the thing that got you going the most is when we've talked about growing up in mainly the 50s and 60s. That's got you all going. One of the things that kept coming up was the harsh winter of 62, 63. Everybody's got such big memories of that. And something that came out of it, and so many people mentioned it, was the sight of the school milk crates with the milk freezing. And of course, it's legendary now, and this isn't a modern myth. This really did happen. They used to bring in that frozen milk and stand it next to the stoves in the classroom to thaw it out, which must have rendered it poisonous, but people just drank it.
I remember slightly warm milk. Not hot milk or anything like that. It was horrible, wasn't it?
Oh, it was dreadful.
And a paper straw that would go soggy after a few sips.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I hated school milk so much. To this day, I don't drink milk on its own as a drink. No, I hated it. Absolutely put me off it for life. It really did. The other thing that came out of growing up in that era and talking about schools, so many of you messaged us about this. It was the School Broadcasting Council. Yes, when they used to bring in well, they didn't bring it in, actually. There was a speaker in the corner of the classroom. I think it must have been some form of cable.
It was
radio,
cable,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, it was heavily laced with, let's all try to be trees, shall we? And there you stood in your vest and pants, waving your arms about, trying to be a tree. And then there was singing together. And we hadn't really thought this through, but it came bubbling up as we were talking about it on air. Must be 6 or 7 years ago now. They used to make us sing along to typically folk songs and sea shanties. And those songs were songs like, "Oh, Soldier, Soldier, Won't You Marry Me?" and "I'll Go No More A-Roving," and "Oh No, John." And we often talk about inappropriateness of songs when they choose them for commercials or theme tunes. But actually, when you look at those folk songs, why were they making 8-year-olds sing this stuff about jilted brides and absentee husbands and things?
I know a lot of popular music wouldn't have been appropriate for children, but this is just after the rock and roll era and right into the 60s when all that was happening, and we were singing a folk song from 150 years ago.
Exactly, but it was the content. I mean, some of those folk songs were about, jilted brides and lost lovers and suicides. I mean, it's really not terribly appropriate when you think back. But then, I don't know, was it a bad thing or not? But it certainly got you all talking out there. It really did.
But I do remember those little speaker sets.
Lovely plywood speaker.
That's right, all nicely varnished.
Yeah.
With 2 Bakelite knobs.
Exactly.
That's all you needed.
One for volume, one for tone.
That's it.
Because that was all you could control. There was no station. It just came out. It was weird, wasn't it? Just
bizarre thing.
Radio rentals used to do a similar thing. I remember my grandparents had a speaker and a Bakelite switch thing on their windowsill, and they didn't have a radio. It was just literally a cable service.
But the stuff was just piped through them, and they just selected.
Yeah, piped like it was in factories, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When we were in that territory, goodness, did you lot message in and ring up and stuff. The school nurse. The arrival of the school nurse, the knit nurse, Nitty Nora, some people called her. It was the checks for head licence stuff, the utter shame if they found them in you. The irony, of course, is, and this never helped at the time or since, but actually, having head lice isn't a sign of being dirty. It's just something that happens. But of course, they used to put that dreadful stuff on you that smelled, which was like carrying a badge of dishonour around.
Yes, it was. And they'd be treating us for worms and things, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And things like that. Yeah.
Well, it might have been you. I don't know about me. But yeah. The knit nurse, she'd turn up at school. I mean, how humiliating was that? She used to run a comb through.
Her hands were rough.
Oh, they were.
And she'd be in a navy blue working frock.
Yeah.
And,
metal comb, run that through your head. Oh,
and her expression didn't change no matter what she was doing, which child it was, whatever they were
Was she
screaming.
real? Was she early AI? Maybe she was a robot.
We just don't know at this
But
stage.
she was a soulless person. That's awful. There's probably some retired knit nurses out there now. Lovely people. I feel bad now. We're sorry, Nora, whoever you are. Where that led us, when we were doing those shows about the school days and things, it led us almost by accident into a series of shows we did. It lasted nearly a year on and off, and we kind of sort of sub-branded it. It's Not Just Us, is it?
That's right.
Because all of you started messaging in all those things that make you say just that. It's not just me, is it? Not just us. And it's true. And it was things that started it. It was like the cliches, but policemen looking younger, you know.
Well, it's absolutely true, isn't it?
It is true. Then you say, well, it's not just us, is it? No, it is true.
Because long story short, during my fostering days, the police turned up a couple of times.
Yeah.
But once about 2:30 in the morning. So I got myself dressed and opened the door, and all I wanted to say, hello.
I know.
Oh, it's a bit late. Does your mum and dad know you're out?
Sent the cadet. Oh, no. It's not just us, though, is it? I don't know.
And do you feel uncomfortable if you go to the doctor's and he or she is much, much younger than you or I?
Well, they just always are now.
They are now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. And it started this whole thing, this lovely kind of interaction with you lovely, lovely people in the audience. And as I say, it ran for weeks and weeks. And some of the things it threw up, sometimes we'd say them and you'd text back to say absolutely right. Sometimes you'd throw in ideas yourself. But I mean, some of them that we touched on, making sure your texts are grammatically correct. That's not wrong, is it? That's not just us, is it? That just makes sense.
No,
but if you're under 30, it doesn't matter.
I did years actually sending a text as I would a letter.
Yeah.
Dear so-and-so, blah, 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 yours sincerely or yours faithfully at the end. And, I would do that. It's only now that I could just sort of get it down to a couple of words.
There's kind of linked to that, you're growing old when bit, but I mean, still saying all one word when you give your email address. Is that a sign that you're growing old, or is that not just us? I don't know.
You don't need to be told these days, do you?
You don't, do you?
You don't need anyone to say www.
No, that really has gone.
Yeah.
Even we don't do that, do we?
No, even us. Even us.
We're like down with the kids. We don't do that. This one really irritates me. People keep dropping the first half of 2-word items. I was in the shop recently. I was, where's the neckties? Sorry? The neckties. Ties.
Ties.
Oh, we don't sell... necktie. Wristwatch.
No, you won't have that anymore.
See?
It's your wristwatch. No.
Well, it's not just us, is it?
No!
What the heck's going on? And another thing... Because nobody older says that, do they? I mean, on the subject of neckties, just ties. But when you have to wear one, big knots, big necktie knots in small collar shirts. That's not just me, is it? It's just wrong.
No. Was it a Windsor knot?
Well, it could be a Windsor, could be a 4-in-hand, whatever. People who tie those knots don't know those names anyway. They just put on very tiny shirt collars and tie these huge necktie knots. Why have you done it? Come here and I'll show you how to do it properly. Here's another clothing-related one. This one drives me mad, this does. The top half of a suit is a jacket. It's not a blazer.
Right. You can see by your face. His face is like thunder.
Like thunder.
Dear
In
listener.
fact, if you're really, really posh and you go to a Savile Row tailor, the top half of a suit, bizarrely, is sometimes called a coat. But we'll leave that, because that's pretty rarefied. But one thing the top half of a suit is not, is a blazer.
That's what you wear for school.
Well, a blazer has got shiny buttons. That's why it's called a blazer. A blaze of light of shiny buttons. It's a blazer, not a sports jacket or the top half of a suit. Why do you do that? It's
Why
not
are
just
they
me,
doing
is
that?
it?
No, we talked about shirts as well.
Yeah.
With all the pins and clips when you buy them new.
Yeah, oh,
Do you remember
yeah.
that?
There's a ton of plastic in some of those, isn't there?
Yeah, at least.
And
all
they're
the-
unique as well. You can't use them for anything else, can you? You can, I'll use that as a paperclip. You know, they've got this funny sort of shape.
Yeah.
Keeping a bag full of bags. That's no seen as being an old person. That's not just us, is it? You know you're grown up and responsible. See, the thing is, you've got a bag full of paper bags in your kitchen drawer that went through a period of being seen as old. It's green now, isn't it?
Do you know what I bought? It's going back a little bit, but I bought a bag for life from a stall on the market. The person who sold it to me said, "Do you want a bag for that?"
No. Things like that.
I've got one here, thank you.
I know. I think I mentioned this to you the other day. We had somebody come around to do our new blinds in our kitchen. I won't mention the name of the company. And the guy on the phone said, we'll fit them on Tuesday the 30th. I can't give you an exact time, but I'll give you a window.
Hey!
That's not just me, is it? Is it really?
Since when did we keep having windows in our diaries?
Yeah.
What next? Conservatories, lean-tos?
Exactly. That's like drop-down menus. They're a conspiracy to make you feel older.
Yeah.
Scroll down to the year of your birth. Down you go, down you go, down you go.
Is that when they used to spin the wheel on Price is Right?
Yeah.
You remember? Just like that, all these numbers disappearing.
I thought, by the time I get to mine, it'll be in Latin.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be in Roman numerals. Edged in stone.
Click here for carbon dating.
What's that all about? Just because you touch at people who do jump queues, that doesn't make you old. That's not just you, is it?
No.
Just wrong. Here's one.
Oh, here we are.
Why do people say H when they mean H? Why?
And it's sometimes the great and the good as well, you know.
I know. It's H. It just is. Don't say H. Otherwise, you'd say. Oh, I mean, you'd phonetically pronounce all the letters, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like wobble you.
Yeah. Fef.
Be careful, Peter.
Yeah, let's leave it there. Why do people keep using words that have gone out of date as well? Dial tone. Why do kids still say dial tone? It's not a dial tone anymore, is it?
You don't get one now, do you?
We were talking about this. Was it last week? Hang up.
Yeah.
When's the last time anybody hang up, but people still say it? It's like, we've touched on this before, and it was very much part of that. It's not just us. As soon as an urgent message comes in, whether it's in a drama or it comes into the sound of a typewriter.
Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know, there are people doing responsible jobs in journalism who have never touched a typewriter, but they need to know the sound of a typewriter because it's urgent news. Imagine growing up. Imagine being so young you can't remember the football results coming over a teleprinter. You've missed something in the universe.
That was an Grandstand. That was an event.
You've missed something in the universe not to have seen that. You know?
What they used to do, I mean, before computer graphics, they used to have this teleprinter which would be churning out the results, and they'd just point a camera at it and cut it into the picture.
Yeah.
So you just see this bit of paper going past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riveting.
Yeah, riveting stuff.
But you see, that's the same thing. Your mobile phone, if you take a picture with it, it clicks like a camera shutter.
No need.
There's no shutter in there.
No need.
But people who don't even have cameras need to know that it's behaving like a camera. But they're making electric cars make the sound of cars because they're not cars unless they sound like cars. It's hurting my head now. Getting a headache, come on. But then again, you used to go through an entire day without taking a picture of anything, didn't you?
Oh, we could go weeks, couldn't we?
You could go a year. Take the box brownie on holiday. That's as far as it went, wasn't it?
Are you one who would tweet a picture of your lunch?
Yeah.
Or, when
Imagine that before
became a
mobile
thing?
phones and social media.
Yeah.
You're in Yarmouth, up Regent Road, cod chips and peas dinner. Father, get the camera out and take a picture of your dinner. Why? I'll get the camera. And it comes back from the chemist, processed. What have we got a picture of the fish and chips for? I don't know.
And endless photographs of your cat.
Yeah. Why would you even do that? You know, I mean, it's just... That's a good point, actually. Nobody took pictures. Well, yeah. Just get the camera out and take a picture. Why would you do it?
I mean, if it's exceptional circumstances, then yes, you take a picture of your food. If it's something exquisite, if it's like a wedding cake or a special birthday, yes.
Yeah.
But just a bowl of soup and a croissant, that's...
But you just know people do it. But the thing is, I suppose people are doing it because they want you to know where they are, don't they? Which is, to be fair, not quite as daft as just taking a picture of your food. But, we were talking about this a week or so ago, weren't we? I mean, there are so few pictures of all of us in dance halls and clubs and things, because who would take a camera to do that? But now, you do it all the time. In a way, it's really nice, I suppose, but...
Yeah, but and I noticed that now, it's possibly a good thing, when somebody is taking a photograph, nobody else takes much notice of them, whereas before, if you saw someone with a camera, you'd know it was
That's
a bit
very
of an
true,
event.
isn't it? That's very true, yeah. In the world of work, of course, language, I don't think this is just us at all, but you must know you're getting older when you're no longer promising.
When you're no longer promising?
Yeah. I mean, there's a time in your career, isn't there? It's very promising.
Very promising. Oh, I see. Yeah, very, very promising.
Bumfrey. He's very promising
very
indeed.
Promising career.
Very promising.
Yeah.
And there comes a point where you're not promising anymore at all, really.
For me, it's more like, he's getting away with it still.
Yeah. And most of your colleagues were born after your last promotions. When did personnel become HR anyway?
Bring it back.
When did that happen?
You know where you are with personnel.
Yeah. And then, when you got home from work, you sit down, you have your dinner, probably an Arctic roll, a Findus fish finger or something.
Crispy pancake.
Yeah, they were good. A pot noodle. And you think, I know, I'll look in the paper or the Radio Times, there's a programme I want to watch, and it goes out to 7:30, and you sit down and watch it. That's now called appointment television. So you and me, let's watch what's on the telly tonight. That's not just us, is it?
I still prefer appointment television.
Yeah, but it's becoming trendy again. Appointment television's becoming trendy because the rest of the world, we're told, is watching a million streaming things.
I still like watching a TV programme and knowing that several million other people up and down the land were enjoying the same experience.
Yeah.
And you feel part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this isn't just me, is it, right? I turn on my TV to watch a streaming service advertising itself as being ad-free. It's using an advertisement to say we're ad-free. And in that advertisement, it says it's £55 a year. Well, it would be, because it's ad-free. But you're using ads to tell me that. It's not just me, is it?
No, and satellite TV, you pay all that money for it, a decent package, and you still get adverts.
Yeah. So, stop knocking the ads in that sense. If you want to watch independent advertising-driven stuff, that's what pays for it. Your licence fee pays the BBC. But to use an ad to promote it as being ad-free, somewhere, something in the universe has clicked in somebody's head wrongly, hasn't it? I mean, that's just not me. But then again, here we are on the wireless. No, if you're under 40, the wireless doesn't mean the wireless. It means it's an adjective to describe interconnectivity without cables, isn't it? But guess what? There was wireless when it was the wireless. And here we are on it.
When it was just that little posh box in the corner that lit up a little bit with just the two knobs on the front again.
Exactly. But then you and me will be off the wireless soon, won't we?
We certainly will. And let's just say a big thank you to everyone who's been in touch with us. And Pete and I we're just thrown together by, I think, David Clayton.
It was David Clayton's fault.
Yeah.
It was.
If you're listening, David.
And it's way over 10 years now, but it's been a blast, and thanks everybody for listening. But watch this space. We have plans,
yes.
Do we not?
Do we not? All I'll say is Sheringham Little Theatre and St George's in Great Yarmouth.
That's what we need to say. Catch us live on stage. See you later. Bye.
That brings the time to 2:45. More from Richard Pearce in the studio, and our funny ha-ha chums from Humour Comedy will be here. First, a look at the roads in King's Lynn. Slow on London Road between Blackfriars Road and Southgate's roundabout. An extra 10 minutes to get through there at the moment. As for the rest of the county, the speed sensors are looking okay. 0800 389 7321 if you can update me safely. More in half an hour.
Sunday mornings on BBC Radio Norfolk are the perfect venue.
So, you know how we've always talked about tying the knot. This is where we're going to do it.
Oh, Jules, that's so beautiful.
I found the venue.
I can't wait.
With the perfect couple.
I'm ready to squeeze into that dress. I've got the venue. We just need the treasure. I mean, you are my treasure, my darling.
Well, almost.
Of course you said it. Call me Zoe again. I love it again.
Treasure Quest with Sophie Little and Julie Ranger. Join the love every Sunday morning from 10.
Nowhere else on radio would you find this heady mix on a Sunday morning.
I love this show. I love all of you.
The sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
Stephen Bumfrey, Ben Langley here. You and your team have always championed me and given me space to talk about my different projects, and for that I thank you so very, very much. You're going to be sadly missed on the Norfolk airwaves. However, today is all about you, you beautiful man. Good luck, and I'll see you for a cuddle very soon.
I saw the fire in your eyes. I saw the fire when I look into your eyes. You tell me things you wanna try. I know temptation is the devil in disguise. You risk it all to feel alive. Yeah. You're offering yourself to me like sacrifice. You said you do this all the time. Tell me you love me if I bring you to the light. It's like a dream, what she feels with me. She loves to be on the edge. Her fantasy is okay with me. Then suddenly, baby says, take my breath away and make it last forever, babe. Do it now or never, babe. Take my breath away. Nobody does it better, babe. Bring me closer, want me to hold on to you tight. Yeah, pull me close, I feel the heat between your thighs. You're way too young to end your life. Girl, I don't wanna be the one who pays the price. Ooh, it's like a dream, what she feels with me. She loves to be on the edge. Her fantasy is okay with me. Then suddenly, baby says, take my breath away and make it last forever, babe. Do it now or never, babe. Take my breath away. Nobody does it better, babe. Bring me closer, heaven, babe. Take my breath. Oh, and I'm serious. Take my breath away and make it last forever, babe. Do it now or never, babe. Take my breath away. Nobody does it better, babe. Bring me closer, heaven, babe. Take my breath.
How gorgeous. It's the weekend and my breath at BBC Radio North. It's Stephen here. Last day and all that. Let's just check out some of the correct answers for the lyrical headline. I'll play the clue in a moment or two. Tom and Jane in Cromer, thank you very, very much. And for your sweet messages as well. Karen from Sheringham. Ian from Mattershall. Jeff in Philly. We'll be hearing from Jeff, I think, a little bit later. Chris in Yarmouth. How are you on the bins there? Jackie in Rockland. Thanks for getting in touch. You got it right. Pam in Scotto as well. We have Mark, Swatty Mark, and Robert in Harleston. Here's today's clue. Get in touch on the usual numbers if you could give me the song title and the name of the band.
A royal figure has said that you make him live, and when it comes to whatever this world can give to them, you're all that they see. After calling you honey, witnesses claim they called you the closest companion they've ever had, and you've been with them for such a long time. Further reports suggest you're their sunshine, and statistics prove that those feelings are true. BBC Radio Norfolk. That's your lyrical headline.
We've got the people in the studio sworn to secrecy. They mustn't give the answer away, even if they know it. Richard Pearce is here. Did you get it? Would you have
It's the easiest one I've heard for a long time, to be honest.
I was scratching my head. Now, every Friday on this programme has been Fun Day with our chums at Humour Comedy. I'm very pleased to say that John Mann from Humour is in the studio with us. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm here with Martin Westgate, Mr. Humour, but he's
Mr.
outside
Humour?
with little Milo. So.
Little Milo. He's just doing a bit of babysitting out there.
So, on behalf of all of the comedy promoters and comics in the county, we're very, very grateful for your input. It's nice, and we brought you some flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely sunflowers.
The greatest flower of all, the sunflower. They're such a happy flower.
They are.
Look at me.
Yeah. Ta-da!
Yeah, they are.
Flowers.
Bumfrey is a sunflower of the radio.
Yeah.
Thank you. And an inflatable champagne bottle.
Dare I say? Balloon and an oddly shaped bottle of wine.
Oh, thank you. For you. Very oddly shaped bottle of wine, actually.
Have you ever done stand-up, Richard? Would you ever do it?
I would do it if I was clever enough to do it. Yeah.
No, this man.
One of my
Clever,
daughters
I just think
would love
it's
to
really
do it.
weird, and without doing the sweary bit, I always say to people who want to do stand-up, do it 25 miles away from where you live. Don't take any friends. Go to a little club. No, genuinely, go to a small club. The very, very worst thing that will happen is you look an idiot in front of 30 people you'll never see in your life.
Well, I've
again.
been doing that for 11 years on the radio, haven't I?
Yeah.
That's all right.
So if you can cope with that, that's the very worst outcome.
One of my daughters, I think, would be really good, but she's scared of doing it. But I'll pass your advice on to her.
I just think in life it's better to do something and wish you hadn't than spend your life wishing you had.
Oh, I agree, totally.
Yeah, now, Sam and I have been very grateful to you guys at Humour Comedy. So, some of the turns we've had on this show have had us in absolute stitches. And you've always been a man, whenever I've have a chat with you on the radio, there's always a little moment where you'll spring a surprise on us. And you did what? You worked with who? You did what? You stood up in front of how many people?
Yes, I know, it's odd. I had some family round last week and we were just talking, and one of my nephews said, "What's the most people you've ever gigged to?" I said, live, it's about 11,000. And you think, what? It's you're bonkers when you think that. You know, that you can just wander out and say, all right.
I've done about 150, but that's the biggest I've ever done. And that was bad enough.
Yeah. I think for me, I did, when they had a Children in Need event at the Theatre Royal.
Yeah.
And Lookie's presenter Stuart White, it was an evening with Stuart White, and they got local celebrities and some music acts, and I had to bring him on stage.
Yeah.
And there would have been about 700 people there. I got away with it because it wasn't about me, it was about the audience, and it was about Stuart White and the guests. I was just there to say, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. But even that, I was quivering that. So
yes, I've found music things to be the worst. I'm doing a thing with John Otway in a couple of weeks' time, which I've done I've done plenty of. I did his 2000th show, and he's on about 3.5 now.
Yeah.
And that's really weird because his audience haven't gone to sit down and listen to something. They want, to throw stuff. So
all of that. John Otway's been on this programme a few times. He was on a couple of weeks back, actually.
Right. Oh, okay, for this current next
tour. That would be the one.
So his band, this is really freaky, his band are Richard Holgarth, Murray Torkildson and Seymour Fluid, and Adam Batby on drums, all of whom I've known for 35, 40 years. I went to school with two of them. It's kind of bonkers.
Don't look a day over 50.
Yeah, I know. I recently turned 50, more recently 60, 62 last
year. There's a lovely piece of John Otway. I think it was a big break. It was nearly a hairline fracture. It was a big break on the old grey whistle test.
Yes.
When he decided to jump up on his amp.
Yes, absolutely. That's with Willie.
With that's right, Wild Willie Barrett, and he hadn't really worked out the laws of physics.
No, still hasn't. Yeah, his book's a beautiful read, just about what a failure he is. I mean, but he's just been always there.
And what's next for you then? Because I know you've got fingers in so many pies.
I have, but I'm just going to carry on gig. I'm doing a lot of writing now. I've signed to Martin's other job, so Mirth Control. So I'm like a sort of comedy consultant for Mirth Control now. So I'm looking at their acts and trying to help them along.
I would love a bit of time with you to talk about that.
Well, we will. Well, let's get you. What we'll do is I'm going to do a Stephen Bumfrey gig, so we can just all come along. Special gig just to raise funds to say thank you to you. We'll buy you another inflatable balloon, and you can do 5 minutes at the end.
And we'll do it 25 miles away from where you live.
And you can do 5 at the start.
My life's dream has come true.
30 people you'll never see again. I have a moments where this was a BFBS one at the Rhine Army Summer Show.
Yeah.
There was the big stage there. The music. I think the Marillion, or certainly Fish from Marillion, was part of it. And we had to start. Hannah and I had to start our live program to the network on the stage.
Right.
And of course, it was all mic'd up. Not just people who were singing and presenting, but the stage was mic'd up at the front. And the first thing that went out on the program was this bloke saying, "I'll moderate the language. Who are those couple of stupid so-and-sos?"
Yeah.
Used it as the jingle ever after.
Yeah. I've done some Forces stuff in Cyprus that's on live to people who can't be there, and that's all everybody does. And there was one, I did one, I was all right. There used to be a Forces gig in the Falklands after the conflict. And there's 6 people on this one site, and they get entertainment twice a year. And the entertainers used to take videos. It was when videos were on. And Kevin McCarthy, the man with the beard, did it once, and there's only 4 people there instead of 6. And he said, "Where's the other 2?" He said, "One's on command," and the other said he's going to leave it and come to the next one. 6 months. He was catching up with EastEnders.
Look, John, we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, no worries.
We've got the
Lovely.
news
Thank you again for everything you've done.
No, a pleasure. John, man, and we will chat. I will be in touch, and you'll be sick of the sight of me. And thanks very much, obviously, to Martin Westgate, who is comedy royalty in these
He is indeed, yeah.
I'll take you up to the news with Delta Goodrum. And back to your heart, it's BBC Radio Norfolk with Stephen Bumfrey, through until 6 o'clock.
These days I feel so small, feel like I've lost control. These lonely days never end. Try to turn down the noise, it's hard to hear my voice when it's all in my head. When you're feeling down and out, life is for the here and now. So get out of your head and into your heart. The road is never too far. Let's party days, it's all we got. So keep running back to your heart. Na 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 running back. When people say you can't, when they say that you won't, prove to them who is right. Oh, they say that there's no chance. I'm gonna take my stand. I'm always up for the fight. Oh, when you're feeling down and out, life is for the here and now. So get out of your head and into your heart. The road is never too far. Let's party days, it's all we got. So keep running back to your heart. I don't want what you have, no, no. Yeah, I know what I need. To take all this love inside and set it
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Norfolk.
and on your radio.
The sound of Norfolk is
BBC Radio Norfolk.
3 o'clock, the BBC News for Norfolk with Matthew Gudgeon. Norfolk Police has said sorry after an accidental release of data concerning victims of serious crime. It involves more than 1,200 victims, suspects and witnesses. The details were wrongly included in Norfolk and Suffolk Constabulary's responses to Freedom of Information requests between 2021 and 2022. Assistant Chief Constable Eamon Bridger has issued this apology.
I recognise the seriousness of this incident. I take the opportunity to apologise that this data breach has occurred. I deeply regret any concern that it has caused to any member of the public, whether it be those that are directly affected by this breach or indeed indirectly by the announcements today. Over coming days and weeks, we will be taking steps to contact everybody who has been affected to listen to their concerns.
3 suspected spies for Russia have been arrested and charged under the Official Secrets Act, including a man from Great Yarmouth. The defendant's last known address was a guest house in the resort. As Amy Blunt reports.
The arrests were the result of a major national security investigation. The 3 are charged with possessing identity documents with improper intention and are accused of knowing that they were fake. The documents included passports and identity cards for 9 different countries. The 3 Bulgarian defendants have lived in the UK for years and are 45-year-old Orlin Rusev of Great Yarmouth, 41-year-old Biza Dzambazov from Harrow and 31-year-old Katrin Ivanova of the same address. Rusev's last known address was a Yarmouth guest house. His LinkedIn profile states he once acted as an advisor to the Bulgarian Ministry of Energy. The trio are due to go on trial in London in January.
A wind turbine a mile and a half off the Norfolk coast has been badly damaged by fire. The turbine's part of the Scroby Sands wind farm just off Great Yarmouth. The fire is now out and no one was hurt. Rishi Sunak has insisted he can be trusted to manage the economy after figures showed a rise in UK unemployment to 4.2%. The Office for National Statistics said job vacancies also fell by 66,000 between May and July. The Department for Transport says next year's rise in rail fares will be below inflation. The increase is usually based on the previous July's inflation figure as measured by the Retail Price Index. Data published tomorrow is expected to show RPI at around 9%. 2 refurbished tennis courts in Norwich are back in use after investment by the LTA. Council-owned courts at Harford and Alderman Walker Parks have had £220,000 spent on them. The facilities are available again if you've a membership or you can pay £6 per hour. Cricket, Norfolk's target to beat Suffolk is 180, and the latest from Manor Park, there's still a bit of work to do. They're 86 for 3. Weather-wise, dry and sunny, warm as well, 23 this afternoon. For an update any time, tell a smart speaker to play BBC News for Norfolk.
The sound of Norfolk.
And all the music you love. BBC Radio Norfolk. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shoes on, get up in the morning, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. Kink out, kick the drum, rolling on like a rolling stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top of the brown. Ding dong, call me on my phone, nice tea and I'll get my ping pong. This is dead heavy, can't hear the bass, boom, I'm ready. Life is sweet as honey, yeah, this beach shade like money. This go all alone, I'm into that, I'm good to go, I'm diamond, you know I glow up.
Hey, so let's go.
'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shining through the city with a little focus on. So I'ma light
I shall always remember this show when I hear BTS, what's that, Irritable Bowel Syndrome, and Dynamite at BBC Radio Norfolk. Got a bit of a studio full. Got Richard Pearce here.
Hello. I'll stop laughing now.
He's going to stay for the duration. We've gaffer taped him to an office chair.
I'm really enjoying it as well.
And we've got a final Dave is
Ages since I've seen you.
I was passing.
That's your irritable bowel syndrome.
No, lovely to see you. Looking very well, young man.
We've already done the joke. Lovely shirt. We've already we've already done the joke about sold the caravan, kept the curtains.
Yeah.
Sam is in the studio.
Hey,
Sam, we haven't
hello.
heard from you all show because it's been such a mad one.
I've been getting guests up and down. It was great to have Martin Westgate, who was here, but he had his son Milo there, just waving from across the glass. Yeah. And of course, John as well. And I told Vinyl Dave to wait behind the sculpture of the horse that's at the Millennium Plain Norwich Forum at the moment. So that was a fun little moment for you, wasn't it, Dave? Making friends.
I said why. You said big horse. I said so.
Yay.
And you said nay.
Stop horsing around, guys.
I'll be on my way.
We're just old hoofers.
I only know. Only know one thing about horses.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Last show.
Last show. Last hour.
It's, in one respect, they've been very, very lucky.
Yes.
Horses. And on the other hand, they have hoofs. And
They're not going to ask me back after this.
dear. Look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for switching on. It's my last show today. If you've listened for the past sort of hour and 10 minutes, you'll realise why. And thank you so much for the messages. I've been really quite overwhelmed, and it's just lovely getting back into the studio with some of these fine guests that have entertained you and I over the years. Sam, I've got to say it now. I don't want we have to run out of time, but you've been brilliant. How long have we been doing this together?
I think. Thank you very much. No, thank you, Stephen. 2018 January.
Yeah.
I was filling in a bit before that. Since 2015, I remember my first show with you. I think it was December 2015. I didn't really see the opportunity coming. I was then given the email. Hey, do you want to look after Stephen just quickly? It was like last minute thing.
Do I have
and
to?
it was like, okay. And then I was very anxious, spotty 21-year-old, and it was ever since then. It's been an absolute hoot, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm just going to big up my man Sam here, because first thing I noticed was your attention to detail when you did. Do you remember me saying to you, I've never known anyone to get everything so right when it's needed to be done. And one of all the other talents you have for producing, but one thing you get absolutely right is you've always been able to predict a tantrum on my part. it's
a great skill.
Because I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm fine with tech until it doesn't work. If it needs fixing, I'm not interested. It's like having a car and having to stop every 10 miles and lift the bonnet and sort something out underneath. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Yeah, and when you asked for technical help with a technical problem, I just go over your shoulder, I do one little click and it's sorted the whole thing.
Yeah,
we had one of those when I was in the studio a couple of times ago with the CD. And
the CD.
Sounds like, press the eject button. And the CD had been stuck in there for months.
Yeah.
I think you're a star, Sam. Seriously. And I'm so obliged to you for asking me on and looking after my friend.
And when you phone up the programme, Sam is more often than not the voice at the end of the phone that you're speaking to, and he loves. I can see him on the other side of the glass, sitting there laughing at some of the fun you're having.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's a privilege to be a producer of a show like this. For all of you who've got in touch, just saying what you've been up to this every afternoon, taking part in the lyrical headline, just general texting. It's been fantastic to chat to all of the wonderful listeners. And by the way, if you've sent in a thank you message to Stephen, I'm printing it out and giving it to Stephen there. So if we don't manage to give you a mention and give you a readout, we are reading all of them. We are really appreciating everything you're sending in. And for those trying to call in, sorry, I will answer your call in a couple of minutes.
And that's a great. Vinyl Dave obviously couldn't come into the studio without bringing a little bit of music with him. And I haven't
Be
really...
careful with that tech now, won't you?
Yeah, I'm using an actual turntable. Oh, listen,
look at that.
it's got a whistle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
lovely.
might have to
Oh, it's like the old
get
days.
the dog off the deck, though, please.
It's right, here we go. Put the needle on the record.
I thought it was quite appropriate, this one,
Oh, here we
because
go.
you are moving out today.
Yeah, thank you. Carol Bayer Sager taking us back in time to 1977, long before you were born. Do you remember them?
I stayed out late one night and you moved in. I didn't mind 'cause of the state you were in. May I remind you that
Do you think about the quality of this song? We might need to abandon this. Maybe. So I think it's a turntable issue. So we don't want me to play it to you again, son. No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Get rid of that. Bring back the carrier pigeon and the wax cylinder. That's what I say. So Vinyl Day first came onto the programme because you used to do
DJing and various things.
yeah.
Absolutely, long time ago now, sadly.
Did Wally Webb get you going on
He
that?
did, actually, yeah, to be fair to Wally. When Radio Norfolk first opened in 1980, got to meet Wally and... we used to do like a Sunday gang show with him, we used to do jingles and things, and he got me excited by the idea of radio and DJing and stuff, and it took off from there, really. So fair play, Wally.
Yeah, and then in this strange twist of fate, because you worked with Wally, and then your son came and worked with us.
I know, isn't that great? There's the circle of radio.
How is Ryan these
Ryan
days?
is absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Yes,
I remember Ryan.
Yeah,
yeah, he's down in London, living life to the full as always. Not enough hours in the day for him to amuse himself.
We used to play, there was Thordis, Ryan and myself, we used to play with jelly babies that he used to bring in. He used to do like resuscitation on jelly babies.
I didn't know that story.
But when you bite the head off, there's no point in resuscitating.
No. And I always choose the male jelly babies. You get slightly more.
well, your love is worse than cigarettes. Even if I had 20 in my hands. Oh, babe, your touch, it hurts more than hangovers. No, that bottle don't hold the same regret. And my mother says that you're bad for me. Guess she never felt the high we're on right now. And my father says I should run away, but he don't know that I just don't know how. Well, if it's unhealthy, then I don't give a damn. 'Cause even if it kills me, I'll always take your hand. It's unhealthy, they just don't understand. And when they try to stop me, just know nobody can. You're still gonna be my man. Hey, 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 still gonna be my man. Hey, hey, oh, this body high gives me sleepless nights. It's a million times what any jerk could give. And my red eyes, they are twice as wide. It might look like pain, but to me it's bliss. All my friends, they say that you're bad for me. Guess they never felt the high we're on right now. And my sister says I should run away, but she don't know that I just don't know how. Well, if it's unhealthy, then I don't give a damn. 'Cause even if it kills me, I'll always take your hand. It's unhealthy, they just don't understand. And when they try to stop me, just know nobody can. You're still gonna be my man. Hey, 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 still gonna be my man. Hey, 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 you're still gonna be my man. Hey, hey, still gonna be my man.
Anne-Marie and Shania Twain for you there, Unhealthy. I'll update you with a lyrical headline very soon, and we will have a look at the roads.
Be my man.
So it's a bit of a house full on the studio today. Woo, woo, woo. And can I just say, We'll have David Clayton in. He's responsible for me being here today, actually. He'll be in just in about 5 or 6 minutes. But David, how are you, David, first of all?
I'm very well.
David Webster and I worked together. How we got away with that, I don't know.
Eons ago. Working was a very generous term.
Yeah, and
I was here.
Yeah, and we had an enormous amount of anarchy and fun, didn't we?
It was brilliant. There are a few people on the wireless who can do anything at any point with anything, and no matter what happened, I'm amazed that you stayed on air whilst I was there. But the oddest moment of my broadcasting career, and if you were to just imagine the studio at the moment, you've got a bank of things called faders in front of you, lots of computers, microphones as well, and a turntable behind you. What you used to do was disconnect your main mic, stick it in a bucket, and then we used to do the weather from... Where was it? We used to do the weather from a sauna or something.
That's right. Now the weather forecast, in a sauna.
Yeah. And it was just brilliant. And so, it was tremendous fun.
It was. Fun. But I was just telling the guys, I'll share it with the listener, I'll clean up the act for this one. But there was a time when we used to introduce the newsreader, rather than them doing it themselves, saying it's 2 o'clock, this is Stephen Monk with the news. And every time I had to do that official announcement, they had the Greenwich time signal, and I'd look up and say, this is BBC Radio Norfolk, and there would be David on the other side of the glass, adjusting himself.
Sometimes fully clothed.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes not, just to give me my full dues.
Mind you say that, Helen McDermott once, I'll leave it there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it winked at me. Looking up old friends is always fun, isn't it? But thanks for swinging by, and thanks for bringing these cocktail sticks. And you got them from Poundland.
I got them from Poundland.
How much were they?
They were they're £1. They're £1.
David Weston, thank you very much for that. I better refresh the lyrical headline and then do you some travel news here at BBC Radio Norfolk. The words of a well-known song by a well-known band or artist, cleverly tweaked and fiddled with to resemble a news bulletin-style story. Today, Andrew Sinclair has sunk to the depths of broadcasting to bring us today's clue.
A royal figure has said that you make him live, and when it comes to whatever this world can give to them, you're all that they see. After calling you honey, witnesses claim they called you the closest companion they've ever had, and you've been with them for such a long time. Further reports suggest you're their sunshine, and statistics prove that those feelings are true. BBC Radio Norfolk, that's your lyrical headline.
The contact details 0800 389 7321. That's a free phone. Text Norfolk and then your answer to 81333. Standard network rates will apply. Oh, you can WhatsApp for free if you're connected to your Wi-Fi. It's 08000 321 333. Thanks very much. Stephen in Poor England, you lovely, lovely man. Thank you very much for that. We've got Craig in Brandon. Big wave to you. I can see the Brandon light coming on the map on the wall there. And Teresa from Toff Monks, or the Monks Massive, as we like to refer to it, has given us the correct answer as well. I'll reveal the answer to you in the fullness of time. Quite when that's going to be, I'm not sure. 19 minutes away, past, I should say, 3 o'clock, and just checking out the very latest on the county's roads for you now. And buses are running instead of trains on Greater Anglia between Colchester and Ipswich because of fallen tree on the line at Manning Tree, affecting services across the network. As for the roads, though, they're not looking too bad according to the speed sensors, but if you do spot anything else that the rest of the county might need to know, and you can update me safely. 0800 389 7321.
Making a difference in Norfolk.
Radio Norfolk's always on in the office, and you've done so much to help promote things we've done over the past. Brilliant radio station.
Helping our community.
Special thanks to BBC Norfolk. They've always been really supportive to our cause, and the programs they produce, it's amazing what you do, and it's fantastic. You are a truly local channel. Absolutely.
This is what we do.
Well, I was listening to you on the radio to what you were saying, and I want to come and give a donation.
The sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
Back to
Spinners, of course, at BBC Radio Norfolk. Hi to Phil, North Walsham, and Kay. Oh, silly noise coming up. Hang on. There we go. Detroit Spinners, silly noises. Working my way back to you. Phil in North Walsham. Judith, thank you very much. Lorraine, good to hear from you. These are all best wishes. Yes, I'm leaving the programme, but as I say, big thanks to everyone who's helped me along the way. Producer Sam has been wonderful. And Paul Hayes, for goodness sake. I mean, he's a man who watches your back and looks after you. He produces a lot of the news hour. Fan Man Lee. We've got Sheila in Lingwood and Rosie. Thank you very much for getting in touch. There's loads coming in. It's very humbling, I must say. Also in the studio, we have Vinyl Dave and Richard Pearce, ladies and gentlemen.
It's great to see Vinyl Dave again.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you.
Yeah,
Shame the turntable isn't working properly.
Well, no, indeed. But technology, we did talk about that.
We did. And David Clayton is in the studio. Hello.
What a day.
Because David and I have known each other since 1976. Ocean Room.
Yeah, you see, this man, and he was a boy then, Spotty Youth used to play Beat the B-Side, which was my little game on the Teen Beat Disco at the Ocean Room in the 70s. And, you know, we'd play a B-Side and it would go up £1 every week. And
that's 1976, come on, you know.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And you could keep this B-Side going. I think the B-Side that went the longest was the B-Side to Ain't Nothing But a House Party by the Showstoppers, Vinyl Dave.
It's all before my time.
Yeah,
I'm
listen.
only 20.
And you got one, didn't you? You won.
Yeah.
How much money did you get from the Ocean Room?
I think it was £5.
Oh, right.
Because you remember, did you used to take up to £80 or something?
We kept going on some of them, yeah. And I had to, the security around the record, I had to cover the B-side label with sticky paper.
But bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you know, pint of lager cost you 50p, so £5 in your pocket, it was happy days. And it was You Tried to Warn Me by Piero Umiliani, the B-side to Manumana.
That's right.
That's the one I won on.
That's the one, is that? You see, it was a Teen Beat Disco night, so we said you had to be over 14, so everyone was over 12. And they'd pile in and we'd play all the hits of the day, wouldn't we? And you were at the Spotty Youth from Galston.
And still to this day, you know, we all know what it's like, and you listening to this will know what it's like. Sometimes you'll hear a track and it will take you straight back. And for the Ocean Room there, as the Teen Beat Disco, whenever the record's Boney M, Daddy Cool, You Should Be Dancing, the Bee Gees. Who Done It by the Tavares, of course. And the B-side to that is I Don't Care Who Did It, I Just Want to Know Who Walked With It. And marched all up the hall carpet. Yes. And whenever I hear those, Heat Wave, I think I've got them coming up shortly, and Boogie Nights, and I'm back in the zone.
Well, yeah, that's the lovely thing about music. I mean, I still do a show for a little bit longer on Sunday nights, and it's 60 stuff, and it's it's reliving that stuff in your head, isn't it? You hear the tune, you go back. So, what a long career, you know, what a brilliant career. And who would have thought when you were standing in front of the stage at the Ocean Room and I was on stage as the DJ, we weren't doing radio, I was doing hospital radio, we weren't doing radio, and we both ended up in it. That's the miracle.
Yeah, and weren't we just talking about chance meetings, chance encounters, and how they can change your life?
It's amazing. I mean, life, like, you know, Marina Florence.
Yeah.
I wrote a book, you got me in, a couple of shows later, you brought Marina in, and now I write lots of lyrics for her.
She has messaged.
She has messaged.
But David and I, like I said, we've known each other for ages, not just through radio, because obviously in my early days at the BBC, I was a floor manager and I did graphics as well.
A floor manager, don't.
And I started, when I first became a floor manager, I used to enjoy throwing my weight around, and then I got over myself and just started to, well, not lark about, because there were strict rules, safety.
There were strict rules, but unfortunately, you and I would get the giggles.
Yeah.
I'd be doing Live Look East, reading the news, sitting there in the camera, and he's the floor manager, and just see him out the corner of the eye, and and he didn't have to do anything. And I would start laughing, and they'd have to take him out of the studio.
Yes, they did, didn't they? A couple of times.
Well, it was one news story where I had to say the line in the story. It was a serious story. I won't go into the detail of it, but somebody had put something in somebody's food, and the food in this case was a raspberry crumble. So when I rehearsed, he's floor manager. I can see him. I rehearsed. I read the script or the autocue. Raspberry crumble. At the point of raspberry crumble, I can see in the corner of my eye he's doubled up in hysterics. A raspberry crumble is funny.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is.
So I thought, I can't do this. If we do this live, I will lose it. So we saw the news editor, and I said, could I change that to pudding? And he said, all right then. Then Anglia went on air before us.
And
they said raspberry crumble.
crumble.
John Bacon said raspberry crumble with a plum. Yeah. So
Good evening.
I had to put raspberry crumble back in. So they took it. You had to go out in the garden.
I had to go out the back studio door, the big studio door.
Crazy.
And what was the other one? Oh, yeah, we can say this now because it was 35 years ago, David. When I was floor managing, there was one presenter, and it wasn't going well.
No.
In the studio, we were coming up to transmission. The early evening news was then 20 to 6.
Yes.
And we used to do a little opt-out for 30 seconds before the main news to say what was coming up on Look East. And once that had done, I thought, here we go, this has got to kick off. And I'd already said to the production assistant, can you make sure there's just a spare set of scripts in the right order for the whole please. And sure enough, the presenter in question said, that's tonight on Look East after the news from London. And then we walked back to London. She threw all her scripts in the air, told the entire studio what she thought of Look East and BBC East. Effed and jeffed at the director and disappeared into the sunset, never to be seen again. And the producer of Look East said, oh, what are we going to do? Get David Clayton! Get David Clayton! Quick, get David Clayton! Where is he? He's in the pub. Go get him! And I still had my headphones on and my talkback unit, and I ran into the Surrey Tavern. David, hello, Stephen, there's yeah.
I'd had a few. I was going home. My wife was picking me up, and she said,
I said, no, you're not going home. You're coming to do the news bulletin on Look East. And I sort of dragged you over. They found you a tie to wear, didn't they?
I always kept a tie and jacket
that's right,
in makeup because I was a regular newsreader, but I wasn't on that night. And honestly, I was dragged on air, and the news bulletin was about 3.5 minutes long. And I'd be like, I can't get through that. And so the producer, a lovely chap called Mike, he said, well, we get rid of that story. We got it down to 1 minute 25.
And you got through that.
I got through it. I was sort of focused.
Go back to the pub after?
Yeah, obviously.
So producer Sam has managed to get the turntable in Studio 2 rigged up. So
right. So when we want to track...
Yeah, well, I think he's ready to go whenever you are now.
This is going to be funny. You've got to signal that somebody through some glass. And
Yeah.
So,
all right, I'll set the flares up. I'll set the flares up in a moment,
I'm
Sam.
nodding now. Hang on. Shall I be in the chain of command?
When it happens. There's the other one when David did the breakfast time opt-out on BBC News. And you were sitting in the BBC studio. I think you just started, hadn't you, your bulletin, and they were someone was fixing the roof.
Oh, yeah, the builders were on the roof, and we thought they'd know what time we were going to be broadcasting. And I started broadcasting, and that was the exact moment they took a scaffolding pole and sort of rammed it up and down in the cavity insulation in the studio walls. And I'm going, the world's coming to an end.
And he's covered in dust.
And I'm sitting, and I'm live, and he's the floor manager, and we can't believe it. But we've had some fun. But listen, somebody should say this. I'm going to say this because I then became strangely Stephen's employer because I was the boss here for 18 years.
That's not doing that news bulletin.
I got away with it. Okay, no one found me out. But you have, Stephen, a way of mixing sound with radio faders, which I don't hear going round the country. It's almost like playing a piano, and everybody thinks it's simple. It's not simple. It's mixing what you hear in your ears, and it is an art. I'll say it's an art, and there isn't anybody better. There isn't. I've been around the country.
One of the first things I did when I first came here, and you still had the old desks, was watch him ride the faders, and I couldn't believe how good it was.
Well, there was just briefly before we go. What is the track you've got lined up?
It's One You Liked. It's Betty Bright in the Illuminations, Captain of Your Ship.
You found it brilliant. The old repertoire of the Delron.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
A punk version. The thing is, when I was a teenager, I had Grandad's old tape machine. My mate Bob lent me his spool tape machine. I had 2 cassette machines and a turntable in my bedroom, and I would just make jingles and little trails and commercials. And you did as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Kenny Everett was my absolute hero for messing around with
inspiration.
Stuff like that.
Inspiration.
Yeah. And then obviously yourself.
I didn't come into it till I was much older than you two lads.
Thanks. What we've done is we've got turntable lined up in Studio 2 now,
it's all ready to go now.
the one here in Studio 1 doesn't work, I'm surprised. And
it's been a few years.
We've got Betty Bright at the Illuminations. If my memory serves me well, this takes me back to 1979. And this is Captain of Your Ship. Here we go. Betty Bright and the Illuminations. This is the captain of your ship. Thanks very much to
most welcome.
Final Day for that. And Betty Bright is married to Suggs.
Yeah, there we go.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought?
Yeah, Mrs. Suggs and the Illuminations.
And the other thing is with radio. One of the things that really inspired me was offshore radio, and the Dutch always got it really right from the word go. Radio Veronica, and later it was Mi Amigo, and I tuned into Mi Amigo because I found Radio 1 a little bit elderly. The presenters were all a little bit a bit like your favourite old uncle.
Yeah.
Whereas Mi Amigo had, because it was offshore like Caroline, it just had that anarchy about it. And a guy, Ferry Aiden, his name, he features on this little clip I'm going to play you in a moment. He was the one, when Mi Amigo dropped off air, and I found an old tape of theirs, a programme of theirs, and I ran through the tape, found the promotion for their fan club, phoned the number, and it just so happened Ferry was at the fan club that day. He was just passing by.
Wow.
I got to speak to him, and he got me my first gig in Italy. And we are still the best chums. We're still the best of mates. And then Barry Lewis, who used to do the travel news with us, he and I were big anoraks, and we, to mark one of the anniversaries of the Marine Offences Act coming into effect, that would have been 2017, wouldn't it? That would have made it 50 years.
The original pirate one?
Yeah.
Well, that was August. Well, we're a day apart from it, August the 14th.
Yeah.
67. But the anniversary.
This
50
show,
years.
This show would have been 50 years, and we got some of the greats. I managed to get an interview with Tony Blackburn, and he got Johnny Walker.
Yes.
And a lot of the stars we got. Of course, we had Keith Hughes on, and we had a very own Keith Greentree, who I think turned down a gig on Radio London.
Coming up, were we?
Not that he ever regretted it. It was either that or marry his wife. And here's just a little clip. You were talking about mixing jingles and noise sounds there.
It's an art.
Here's like just a little clip. I mean, the quality is a bit below par because it's an old recording, but this is a little bit of The Coast That Rocked, and a brilliant sound name check jingle from my mate Ferry.
I opened a letter up from Radio London saying, would you like to come and see us? We'd like to offer you a job. What do? Do I take on a managership of a shop for a big electrical retailer and get married? Or do I go swashbuckling?
Down here, this little corridor, we're setting up for the live broadcast for tomorrow. Well, Ferry's just been down there. How's it going down there? He says,
all right, yes.
Everything set up all right?
All right, basically.
You wouldn't tell me if it wasn't, would you?
Well, it's the camaraderie on board. You live in the same small environment in space. Everybody's forced to cooperate with everyone else. Yeah, we have no choice.
Or you get the next tender off.
Yeah. Or you have another happy life.
De Sprint, Feyenoordkade 14, Rotterdam Zuid.
This is Radio Seagull because there's more to music than hits alone. This is typical 70s broadcasting desk. This is so easy to use and the sound is so incredibly good. That way you put the channel on air, fade it up.
Right.
If you want to listen to it on pre-fade, you just click
Turn
down.
that down.
Alternatively, if you want to listen to it through the loudspeakers on Audition, you put the key the other way and turn the fader up.
Radio London closed down, all the other pirate stations around the country closed down. All sorts of emotions. I was exhilarated, excited, frightened to death, but we were going to defy the government. And so at midnight on the 14th of August from How Can Me and Me Go, I read out a speech that station boss Ronan O'Reilly had written, and we played the Beatles' All You Need Is Love.
That was hello. Oh yeah, then it went into a track by Listen to the Radio by Tom Robinson Band. That was a good show to do. Happy days.
It's something about when you hear Dutch. It's so much part of the pirate radio. I mean, I wouldn't understand it, but it's such an atmosphere of that naughty radio that we wouldn't be here now. You and I wouldn't have done this had the pirates not done what they did.
And that there was a clip of an advert in there, and it was from about 1977. It's for car tyres, and the business still exists in Rotterdam. It's called De Sprint, and I used to love all the adverts, and I took the time and trouble of learning the voiceover to De Sprint. En De Sprint in Rotterdam bieden nu de Michelin XRM-band met 40% korting, inclusief gratis montage en klaar te welen. Wat? De Sprint! Feyenoordkade 14, Rotterdam Zuid. And then years later, I discovered that my mate Ferry knew the man who did the voiceover. And he said, yeah, Mark van Amstel, you ever come to see him today? Really? And I went round and I sat down in front of Mark van Amstel, who's a well-known newsreader as well. And he laughed his socks off when he just heard this mad, middle-aged, crumbly disc jockey reciting his advert from 1977. What I'll do now is I shall... reveal the lyrical headline. I think it's only fair.
Good idea.
I can never do
it. You can never do it.
I sit at home when I hear this. I can't do this.
I done yesterday, but today, no.
No, right. Here we go then. The lyrical headline: easy to enter, fun to play, nothing to win. The words of a well-known song by a well-known band or artist, cleverly reworked into a news bulletin-style story. All you need to do then is to give me the title of the song and the name of the band. So let's take a moment, shall we, to remind ourselves of the facts as we understand them so far.
A royal figure has said that you make him live, and when it comes to whatever this world can give to them, you're all that they see. After calling you honey, witnesses claim they called you the closest companion they've ever had, and you've been with them for such a long time. Further reports suggest you're their sunshine, and statistics prove that those feelings are true. BBC Radio Norfolk, that's your lyrical headline.
Did we all get that?
Yeah, I got it. I got first up. Normally when I'm on the programme and I finished my bit, you can say, oh Rich, listen to this. What is it? And I haven't got an idea. Today,
what is it?
First time ever, I got it.
Here we go then. Yes. Queen, ladies and gentlemen, you're my best friend. Let's hold hands and skip.
You made
for my last lyrical headline with you. And you're my best friend at BBC Radio Norfolk. Now, Julie Range has just come into the studio. Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hello.
Well,
What?
sunflowers for my ray of sunshine, but I can see you're getting quite a collection.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh,
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Thank
that we all
you.
see you
Oh,
as
yeah, hang on.
a large sunflower.
I'll put these over here. I've got to find your piece of music, haven't I?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Clayton.
What's your piece of music?
You know this quite well.
Is this something you recorded?
No, something you and Mr. Bumfrey have sung quite a lot to me over the years.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Have you found it?
It must be my age. I'm drawing a blank.
Well, can I say something first?
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't believe I'm going to walk in for Friday's forecast and you're not going to be sat in that seat. I just cannot imagine Radio Norfolk without you. And I've got to say, honestly, hand on heart,
Yeah.
I have never ever walked out of this studio having spent time on air with you, not feeling anything but joy and happiness.
Oh,
you
thank you.
have brought me so much laughter, even on the darkest and rainiest
Thank
of
you.
days. And we've shared a fair few faux pas along the way
yeah,
as well,
we
haven't
have,
we?
we have.
A little bit of naughtiness now and again.
But it's been an absolute delight.
Well-
As a weather forecaster, I've loved your warm front. You've liked my belt of high pressure.
Oh my goodness, have I just...
And of course, if the sun doesn't shine where you are, I'll bend over just a little bit further.
Oh. There's always the ability to surpass, isn't there? But listen, you.
Yes, Julie Ranger.
There are lots of very talented radio presenters out there, but you, Stephen Bumfrey, are something extra special, an exceptional talent, such a rapport with your audience.
Well,
and I
they're
feel
brilliant. How could you fail with them, though? They are gorgeous.
They are, but so are you, and they love you, and I know they are going to miss you as much as we all will. And yeah, please don't go.
Back in the way back in the early noughties. I mean, 'cause I kid you not, the amount of text messages and tweets has really gone a long way with me. Especially when I think back to one of the early shows I did at BBC Radio Norfolk. The first text I got was "Bring back Roy Waller."
I know, that was one of the hardest jobs to take over.
Yeah.
From the legend, wasn't it?
But you did.
Yeah.
Well, look, just a quick blast of this. Look, we've got to travel. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, weather forecaster extraordinaire, Julie Ranger.
I will see you later, sir.
All right, lover. Give us a little wink and a smile on Look East tonight, won't you?
You've got to be kidding. I'm going to have to try not to bawl my eyes out.
All right, Julie Ranger, thank you very much. Let's have a little look at the roads now. BBC Radio Norfolk with Stephen Bumfrey on his last show. Kings Lynn, an accident's been reported on the A149 Queen Elizabeth Way going south, meaning slow going at Queen Elizabeth roundabout. Also London Road between Blackfriars Road and Southgate's roundabout is slow going there. And buses are running instead of trains on Greater Anglia between Colchester and Ipswich because of a fallen tree on the line at Manning Tree. That's affecting services across the network. More around about 4:15. Then if you can update me safely, 0800 389 7321.
On Sunday Breakfast, we take a look at the world of faith in Norfolk.
And there's cake.
We reflect the big events of the week.
And pies.
We chat to farmer Chris Skinner on High Ash Farm.
Don't forget the biscuits, Matthew.
Okay. And there is Jack's weekly recipe as well.
Well, there's all sorts, really, Matthew. We've got savoury recipes, sweet recipes, quick and easy
Join
recipes.
me, Matthew Gudgeon, Sunday morning from 6.
The Sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
I don't want half-hearted love affairs. I need someone who really cares. Life is too short to play silly games. I've promised myself I won't do that again. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be such mistakes. They are much too eager to give their love away. Well, I have been foolish too many times. Now I'm determined I'm gonna get it right. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be worth it. Yeah. Too many people take second best. Well, I won't take anything less. It's got to be, yeah, perfect. Young hearts are foolish. They make such mistakes. They are much too eager to give their love away. Well, I have been foolish too many times. Now I'm determined I'm gonna get it right. It's got to be perfect.
Do you mind if I come out a little early, dear? No, of course you don't. Fairground Attraction and Perfect. It's BBC Radio Norfolk. David Clayton's in the studio. You having
Hello.
fun? Hello.
Yes, I'm still here. I'll stay a bit longer, then I'll go, because you've got loads of people coming in and out.
Richard Pearce.
Hello.
It's good to have
I've
you.
been stuck here for 2 hours and I'm still stuck to my chair.
Ladies and gentlemen from Sheringham Little Theatre, Debbie Thompson is in the studio. Mel Cook from Visit Norwich. How lovely to see you both. I'll come to you first, Debbie. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yes, I've hot-footed it from Sheringham with some little treasures from the coast for you to say how much we love you, Stephen, and how much we're going to miss you.
You've given us some great guests along the way, I tell you that.
Oh, we've had some fun, haven't we?
Yeah.
But I think my favourite moment was when you came and spent the day in the theatre. Do you remember? And did the whole programme, and it was just such fun doing a backstage tour.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, all the things we did.
And I loved it, just how relaxed everyone was at the front and the hub, just having teas and coffees and sandwiches. It was a really relaxed atmosphere. What a buzz you've got going on
We're
there.
so lucky. That's our lovely volunteers. They're
Isn't
just
it? Isn't it?
amazing. Yeah.
And you, Mel, keeping us up to date once a month with all
Yes.
the goings on across the county.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Who am I going to talk to now?
don't
Who am I
know.
going to tell all that to?
What I think we might need to do is let Matthew do the news in a moment or two, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Would that be? I don't want to rush it and then
No,
sort of all over and
fine.
done within 5 minutes. But David, what was it you said?
Listen, all I wanted to say, Stephen, was I'll pop out now because you've got people coming and going. But I have to send greetings from David and Sheila Alderson in the small but beautifully formed village of Muker in Swaledale, who are listening in. They'll be listening in their house up there. So they send lots of love and good luck for the future. And hope to see you
Thank
soon.
I'll get back up there to Muker ASAP. Don't you worry about that.
We'll get you back, I'll promise.
I would absolutely love that. And I do have somebody did ask me to
Yesterday, someone and you promised to do it.
Who was it, Sam? Who asked me to sniff the Play-Doh? It was. Yeah, he's just
It's not a euphemism, is it?
No, it's not a euphemism. He's done it often on the show.
Stephen Bennington. Yeah, no, a euphemism is a musical instrument.
Oh, of course it is.
You wear it round your waist.
Right, so Matthew's got the news very soon, but I was always often asked to sniff the Play-Doh, and this sort of takes me back to being 8 years old, 1968 or thereabouts, playing with the Play-Doh. This is fluorescent pink, and what I do is I make it into a nice big fluorescent pink pancake, and you know the smell of Play-Doh?
Yeah,
Anyone
it's
with
weird.
children or grandchildren.
Can't beat it.
And then you just give it a little bit of a sniff, and people, I don't ever seem to like it. Here we go. Join in. Closer to the radio. A bit closer than that.
say to keep the flame alive. And when he finally comes home to you, he's just too tired to do the things you want to. You can't help but wonder to yourself, how will it be with someone else? Just keep in mind, every storm ends in time. Love is forever. Stay together. You got something real that you may never feel again. Never give up on a good thing. Remember what makes you happy. Oh, never give up on a good thing. If love is what you got, you got a lot. Now you're the man, you got to understand, she don't need to make a scene. Like you, she feels all the weight you're under, and when she breaks, is it any wonder? I know sometimes it crosses your mind to get on out and stay hard to find. Before you try, you better look in her eyes. Love is forever. Stay together. You got something real that you may never feel again. Stay together. You got something real that you may never feel again. Never give up on the good thing. Remember what makes you happy. Oh, never give up on a good thing. If love is what you got, you got a lot. Don't give up your good thing. Don't give it up. Hold on. Oh, don't give up your good thing. Be strong.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Norfolk.
and on your radio.
The sound of Norfolk is
BBC Radio Norfolk.
4 o'clock, the BBC News for Norfolk with Matthew Gudgeon. Norfolk Police has promised a thorough investigation into how the personal information of more than 1,200 victims, witnesses and suspects was released. The major data breach involved Norfolk and Suffolk constabularies. The information was wrongly published as part of their responses to freedom of information requests in 2021 and 22. The police have issued an apology. Assistant Chief Constable Eamon Bridger says it's too early, though, to say exactly how this happened.
Because of the volumes involved and the complexity of that work, occasionally things can go wrong. Obviously, we're not fully completed in our internal investigation at this stage, so can't go into too much detail as things are. However, we've already conducted a rapid internal review of policy and procedure to minimise the likelihood of these things happening again.
A man from Great Yarmouth is among 3 suspected Russian spies that have been arrested and charged under the Official Secrets Act. The defendants are all Bulgarian nationals. They've been remanded in custody. They're charged with possessing identity documents with improper intention and are accused of knowing that they were fake. The last known address of one of the defendants, a 45-year-old called Orlin Rusev, is a guest house in Yarmouth. Official figures show wages are growing at the quickest rate for more than 20 years, but still by not as much as prices are going up. Rishi Sunak has said there's light at the end of the tunnel for the millions struggling with the cost of living. But Nicola Smith, who's head of economics at the Trades Union Congress, told us not everyone is benefiting.
When you look at the figures below the average, we're already seeing real wage growth in very well paid jobs in finance, in banking, but we're seeing much larger real wage cuts across many other areas of the economy, so in retail and restaurants and construction in the public sector. So that average figure is hiding quite a big distortion.
The RNLI in Norfolk says its lifeguards are always able to give sea safety advice to any beachgoer. The charity says although the weather's meant local beaches have been rather quieter this year than last, they've still had to help rescue people who are in danger. These people at Sea Pauling, though, seem to know what to do if they get into any difficulties with a rip current.
Isn't it like a wave, sort of, it's flat and then basically the tide coming in is further out?
Not too sure. When it goes still, I think it can drag you out.
Almost let it probably take you or try and get to one side of it, more than obviously try and fight against it.
Swim parallel to the coast until you're out of the riptide and then slowly come ashore. Luckily, I've never been in that situation.
It's going down to the wire in the Minor Counties cricket clash at Manor Park between Norfolk and Suffolk. Norfolk's target to win 180 and they're currently 132 for 6. On to Norfolk's weather, and it's going to be a fine night in the main. Some showers, temperatures down as low as 12 degrees. For an update, anytime, tell a smart speaker to play BBC News for Norfolk.
Matthew, thank you.
The sound of Norfolk.
And all the music you love.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
We'll have more from Richard Pearce, and of course Debbie and Mel are in the studio. We'll have plenty more from them besides. Got a message from Jeff in Philadelphia coming up shortly. First, Spandau Ballet with Tony Hadley, who talks like that and sings like that. He talks like that and sings like that.
Tangible crime. I'm washing my clothes, the stain still glows. Open your eyes, the stain still shows. I feel the graze against my skin. I feel the graze against my skin. I know this feeling is alive. I know this feeling is alive. There's a guilt within my mind. There's a guilt within my mind. I know this feeling is alive. I know this feeling is alive. I don't need this pressure on. 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 Oh, I should question, not ignore. Oh, I should question, not ignore. Songs are always parody. Songs are always parody. There's a light in my arms. There's motion in my arms. Oh, I should question, not ignore. I should believe and not ignore. I don't need this pressure on. 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 I don't need this pressure on.
This reminds me of standing on the edge of the dance floor at Studio 80 as it was in Great Yarmouth. near what's now the Art Cinema. You know, I don't know. We've got Mel, Debbie from Sheringham Little Theatre. We've got Mel Cook from Visit at Norwich, and of course Richard Pearce here. All right, hello.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Everyone all right?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. The thing is, when you used to go nightclubbing or disco dancing, do you remember the bloke at the edge of the dance floor? He couldn't quite cut it. I was standing there trying to look cool with a Benson and Hedges in one hand and a pint of lager in the other. That was me, and it takes me right back there.
Oh, don't believe that for a minute, Stephen.
I have met Tony Hadley a couple of times, and he is a tall geezer. But you've met him?
Well, I stood next to him in the Atlantic Bar in London in Piccadilly when it's not there anymore. Well, Piccadilly is, but the Atlantic Bar isn't. But yeah, I stood next to him in the bar, and he's really tall, head to foot in leather.
Oh, leather?
Oh, yes, leather. I didn't touch though.
He's a bit dishy, isn't he? Wasn't he a bit dishy?
He was a bit dishy. Not sure he is anymore. But
the trouble is, with those leather trousers as well.
Leather trousers and a leather jacket. I didn't really notice much, did I?
But they make that noise.
Double leather.
Leather trousers make the noise in them when you walk.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear him walking anywhere.
And then when you sit down, especially if it's a leather chair, then he'll sort of cross his legs. But while we're on this, we'll chat a bit more in a moment.
That was why he was on his own.
Sounds like you've got a lot of experience with leather.
And he made all those noises without any Play-Doh.
Yes, interesting.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as it's the last show, I'm speaking to a few people today who've sort of made my life. I've worked with the BBC and its besties. Listen, can I just introduce you to this piece of music called Boogie Boards? Let's just have a listen to this. Written and performed by one of my best friends in the entire world, Bruce Bedwell, in Australia. Come in, Brisbane. How are you, Brucey?
Stephen, how lovely to hear you.
How are things with you? So I'm shouting at you. We have got a telephone. I'm not standing on a chair or anything. So how's life? How's life with you and yours in Brisbane at the moment?
Well, we're all fine, mate. Yeah, it's a lovely balmy evening. I've been sitting here for I don't know, quite a while now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've been listening in. It's lovely. And what's going on in Brisbane? Well, of course, the Matildas. You know, that's been a big thing here. Who thought that football would ever be a big thing in Australia? But suddenly it is. And we might even be playing England. Who knows?
Who knows? It just troubles me that you're sitting outside at 1 in the morning. Is a need to not unlock the door yet?
No, she won't let me in now. I've gone past the time. But so I got 2 free tickets for the Matildas for the France game, and that was lovely. Except that the game was last Saturday, so unfortunately I missed that. I'm just sitting here listening, and it was lovely that David Clayton was posted on Facebook and reminded me this is your last show. So I'm really delighted to be on it, and I have to say he's dead right. You know, I remember so much of your radio history because we've shared so much over the years. We worked together at BBC East, and I can remember the early C90 cassette shows way back, and they made me laugh, and they were inventive, wonderful, and I'm so glad that I've made it to what will be your last show on Radio Norfolk. I honestly wish you the very best, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in November.
Yes, we got a big reunion with some of our old BBC chums up in Scotland. I'm so looking forward to that. And Brucey, we just had so much fun when you'd be on camera too. Sometimes I loved it when you used to be the sound mixer for Look East. That was always a hoot. And I remember just trying to simplify this. Your last gig as a sound mixer for BBC before you left, everyone. You were in shirt and tails, dicky bow tie, all of that. Everyone dressed up for the occasion. Even Norman Austin, who was sort of the engineering boss. And you know, listeners, if you know those little safety switches, so you can't switch them by accident, you have to actually lift them and then pull them. Do you know this what I mean, folks?
Yeah.
Like you have a little
switches.
Yeah, like you have a little flap like that that you press. And, and the little opt-outs, we could opt into and out of network. Norman was wearing these white gloves, opted out of network. And sat back, but one of his fingers, glove fingers, had caught in the switch, and we opted back to network.
That's so funny. My last day, I do remember vaguely my last day on the news. That the broadcast you're talking about, and it was a huge day for me because it was my last broadcast there, and I was on sound. How the hell that happened, I don't know, but it did. And we had a huge party, and they were great days. They were some of the best years of my working life, actually, at BBC.
Yeah, such happy memories, Bruce.
Yeah, in no small measure to your friendship too, because I remember when I first kicked off in 1981, the first person I came across in BBC East was you, and you took me around the place, and I was in fits of laughter from there on in, really.
I mean, neither of us took it really very seriously, did we, Bruce?
Well, not really, no, but we survived it all. And, look, it's been a long and happy time. I can't believe how long it is. You've been in broadcasting radio for 37 years, I just worked that out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if your listeners realise that you've been at so many places, BBC, Essex, Hard FM, and your time at BFBS with Hong Kong, Cyprus and the Falklands. You've covered a huge gamut of radio, and you're back at BBC East, and now you'll move on to something else. I'm sure you will.
Look, Bruce, we could talk for hours, mate, but let's save some of that for when we're up in Scotland with the big reunion. Thank you for coming to the programme. It's a delight to hear from you. And give my love to Anita and the family, will you?
Will do, mate. You take care. I'm looking forward to November. See you soon.
Bless your heart. Bruce Bedwell, old BBC colleague of mine. And incidentally, when I was over with Bruce, when he was working with Channel 7 in Brisbane, they had a Saturday morning kids programme. And I was just up in the gallery having a chat, and I was talking to one of the presenters, but I didn't know she was a presenter because I didn't live in Australia. And then the director said to her, "Could you go down to the studio, love? We're about 30 seconds away from starting the show." He said, "I'm talking to Steve." "Can you bring the portable camera up here? We're going to have to do the opening with her up here talking to Steve." And I suddenly found myself on national television.
Oh, brilliant.
That's amazing.
Just for a little wait.
I hope you have a clip of it.
I know. There would be far too many clips, Richard.
I'm sure.
Someone who sort of knows me inside out and back to front and looked after me so much in the past is Thordis Fredrickson, ladies and gentlemen. Thordis. Hello, are you there?
I am. As you introduced me, of course, baby started to cry, which is very much how things go in the world of radio, isn't it?
How is family life? How is it now?
Oh, well, we are just having the best time. It turns out that I got given the best baby ever.
Oh, really?
People may think they got the best baby, but actually I got him. And so Fiola is sitting on my lap right now. Having been a slightly fake Icelandic person my whole life, I thought, why not let him also be a slightly fake Icelandic person his whole life? So he's called Fiola, which is the only nice Icelandic name I could find, to be honest. Anyway,
No, I'm just going to say, what wonderful time we had working together. Ups and downs. Go on.
They were probably. I mean, as much as I was keen to get on air and present and do my own shows, I think it's going to be hard to beat that as my favourite time at work, really. It was just, we had so much fun. From, I don't know, getting chips and ice cream at Great Yarmouth when we did that. It's been slightly disastrous outside broadcast at the Hippodrome.
I was telling someone about that today. Does
the mic work? No. Does
No.
the speaker work? No. The headphones work? No.
Yeah, that was
Are we on air? No.
It was absolutely no fault of the Hippodrome. They were brilliant. But, but we were on air. I think the show was supposed to start at 1 o'clock. About 10 to 1, we still didn't have a radio car. And all the guests were turning up, and there's you and me standing there like a couple of plums. No radio car, and then eventually it turned up. Is your microphone working? No. Thordis, is yours working? No. What about your headphones? Only one ear. What about you, Stephen? No. Can they hear you back at base? No. Have they told you who's actually reading the news? No.
We had a lot of fun though.
And it was just such a bizarre day, because when we got into the car, it was stony silence. I said, Thordis, we don't have to say any more. Everyone knows. And we had to drive to Galston to pick up 2 deck chairs for you, and we nearly ran over a cat on the way.
It was a very surreal day. But then actually, surreal might describe quite a lot of our programmes. I mean, we used to have lunch, like a full lunch together at about 11 o'clock in the morning, because it was the only time we could fit it in before a 12 till 4 programme. And so, I mean, we spent more time together than I've ever spent with an actual partner in my life.
And you would be sitting there minding your own business, and people would be eating upstairs, and people would come, "Ooh, that smells nice. What, it looks lovely. What have you got?" Well, the slightly curved things are sausages. The white fluffy stuff is mashed potato, and the green stuff are vegetables. And then, "Oh, that looks nice. What's in it?" "Well, those are sausages, as you can see."
And almost every day, well, this is a funny time to be eating a lunch. Well, as was pointed out, every other day we're on air from 12.
Look, Thordis, working in radio, we're short of time, but it was just great just to hear your voice again, and we need to catch up. I'll come and see you.
Oh, you must come and meet your whatever you're called. He's your Uncle Stephen, whoever you are.
And I've got some Play-Doh to bring with me, so what could possibly go wrong? See you later, my lover. Take care.
Mwah.
More from Debbie and more from Elton Richard very, very soon. I better have a look at the roads, actually, before we do anything else. Slow due to diverting traffic from the roadworks on Vancouver Avenue in Kings Lynn. That's on the A149 Queen Elizabeth Way, heading southbound to the Queen Elizabeth roundabout. Proptish, slow and heavier than usual on the A143 going west at Skull Road. Yarmouth queues, surprise, surprise, on the A47 Acle Strait heading inbound at the Runham roundabout. And just to let you know, the A140 is partially blocked from Brockford Green to Wetheringset because of an accident there. More in half an hour if you can update me safely. 0800 389 732.
Breakfast on BBC Radio Norfolk.
I think a lot of people drive and don't need them, and they do block spaces in car parks, so they take 2 spaces.
You should be free to what you want, have what you want. You shouldn't be dictated for people.
Your choice of car, and if that's what suits your family situation.
We are working behind the scenes hard to implement some live helpline hours, and hopefully towards the end of the year that will be something that we'll be able to roll out.
So if you do get caught in a rip current, the safest thing to do, and what the RNI recommend you to do, is to float to live. So get into a big star float position on your back, tilt your head back, take some nice deep breaths, wave with one hand and shout for help.
Back tomorrow from 6.
Take us with you on the BBC Sounds app.
The sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
There is only one Pinocchio joke.
I've never heard it.
All right.
Really?
We're in a seriously.
You've not lived.
I don't know it.
Stephen, do it.
No. I promised management I would leave, I'll be well behaved and stay that way.
Well, now I'm wondering what the joke is.
Moving on.
We can always tell it off air.
Yeah.
Tell us off air.
Tell you off air. Mel, thanks very much for coming in every month to tell us what's happening across the county. What sort of a job is it? I mean, because you've always got to be happy. You've got to be on top of absolutely everything.
Well, I'm quite a jolly person anyway. But nothing gives me greater pleasure, actually, than talking about all the wonderful things that people can do in this wonderful city, in this county. And we've got so much choice. And I just want people to have a lovely life. And if that means, going out for the afternoon and doing X, Y, Z, or going to the theatre in the evening, or just going to the Norwich Market and having fish and chips, I think I provide a service. I'd like to show people what they can do, whether you've got money or whether you've not got any money, because there's so much out there with diverse things to do, and whatever your pocket, we've got it. So I really enjoy doing that.
Do you use that as a slogan? Whatever your pocket, we got it.
No.
Send them the invoice.
I didn't even notice that I said that.
I'll do your voiceover.
Okay, right. Someone needs to write that down, please.
Norwich is wonderful. I've been here for 2 years now. It's by far one of the best places I've ever lived.
Whatever your pocket, we've got it.
I feel the T-shirt coming along. Do you?
Yeah, I can feel it coming on.
Can you do it in plasticine?
Oh yeah, not a problem. Any commissions, that's fine.
Of course.
It just reminds me of doing some voiceovers for QVC, the shopping channel. Do you remember me telling you?
No.
Years ago. And there was a lovely man called John who was producing everything. And he said, all right, Stephen, sit down, here we go, we're just going to start recording. And I just loved he's got a little bit of a Kent accent going on there. And I just said, you're watching QVC, the shopping channel. He said, yes, could you do it with a bit of a smile? And I said, you're watching QVC, the shopping channel. And he just went, oh, lovely. Come and have a cup of tea. 400 quid, cha-ching.
It sounded quite seductive, to be honest, didn't it?
Yeah.
But then I guess it's maybe that's what you need, people to spend money.
A horrible feeling Richard was tempted to go off on a tangent there, but we'll
No, tell us, what are you going to do?
No, I wasn't going to do anything.
He just calls me
king of
Well,
the
it's your last show, and I feel, we've behaved ourselves so far.
And somebody who really cares about what we see and what we do in the county of Norfolk is Debbie Thompson from Sheringham Little Theatre and St George's Theatre. How long have you been sort of running the place?
Oh, goodness. Well, obviously, I'm a lot younger than I look. I started as a mere child, but no, I've been there a long time. I mean, at Sheringham, I've been there 21 years, and at St George's, I think I'm coming up to my 7th year.
7 years
yes,
now, is
I
it?
know, and it was only supposed to be 6 months, but but Great Yarmouth grows on you. I love Great Yarmouth. I mean, we were just saying there's never a dull moment in Great Yarmouth, but the people are fantastic, and I love the building. St George's is a very special building.
Well, I love that neck of the woods, obviously, I was born and bred there. And I felt that actually when we did our Norfolk Day programme from Galston.
Yes.
And I just remember thinking back to the 60s when it was all run down, nobody cared, a bit grubby around the edges. You look at it today and it's all bright and shiny and happy smiley faces. And that goes for a lot of Norfolk at the moment, doesn't it? Don't you think so, Mel?
Definitely. There's been a lot of investment and things have definitely improved. And, of course, when you make improvements like that, then people want to go and visit, don't they? They want to do more, and there's so much more to do.
Absolutely.
So, the investment has to continue in order for, the audience to get more and more and more and, and keep returning.
Yes, and Mel and I were saying how lovely it is when you hear visitors for the first time coming to Norfolk, how much they love it, because there's so much here, isn't there? I mean, obviously Sheringham now is the time all the visitors are there, and so many people are saying to me, we think we're going to come and live here, because it is just very special.
It's very unique. So there are a lot of very unique places around the county.
Well, that's what we were saying. It's so easy to get between places, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can do Norwich, you can do the Broads, you can do the coast all in one day, including the evening, and you can do a lot of that on the train, so you don't have to drive all the time, do you? You can get on bus. So, you could have lots of different experiences all in one day if that's what you want.
It's a great place to show off to when my visitors come over from the Netherlands. Absolutely proud as you like to drive them around Norfolk. You know exactly where to go. It is just a beautiful place, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really
I mean, I fixed my Spitfire, my little car, the other week, and actually took her for a 1 hour drive round the Broads one Thursday evening when the weather was so gorgeous, and it's probably the nicest drive I have ever had in her.
Look, Richard, you're going to stay with us for a while, but for Mel and Debbie, thank you very much.
Thrown out. Yes, we are.
We're being thrown out.
Stephen, thank you so much for letting us share this day with you. And we look forward to seeing you. Now, don't forget you're coming to both venues, aren't you?
Yeah.
3rd of November at Sheringham Little Theatre and 17th of November at St George's. So we really look forward to seeing you and Pete.
I need some help. Thanks very much. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And come in Philadelphia.
First time I started listening to you was the day after the U.S. presidential election in 2016. I was upset about the results and couldn't listen to the news anymore. My first impression was, what an amazing variety of music. As time went on, listening to you every morning became a huge part of my daily routine. I look forward to learning more about Norfolk, interspersed with great music and interviews with everyone from Rick Astley to the owner of a local pub. I love interacting with you, starting with One Foot in the Groove and eventually the lyrical headline. In the last 7 years, you've become a good friend. Noah and I have stopped by the forum every time we've visited Norwich. We were nervous at first, being on the air. You put us to ease right away. When I wanted to do a brewery tour of Norfolk, there was no question about inviting you along, and I love that you brought a microphone to capture the event. Can't wait to show you Philly. You've taught me so much about Norwich and Norfolk. I'll miss waking up to you every morning, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to listen to you every morning for the past 7 years. Norfolk is so lucky to have you.
Oh, Jeff from Philadelphia, a regular listener. I mean, Joe, who's got the sport for us in a moment. You'll know Jeff as well, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's always getting in touch about Norwich City as well. And it's.
I love the way he's sort of turned into a contributor.
Yeah,
a correspondent.
Our correspondent in Philadelphia. We've got Andrew Turner in Great Yarmouth, we've got Jill Bennett in West Norfolk, and we've got Jeff in Philadelphia as well.
You've got to spread it around a little bit. Stephen here with my last show for BBC Radio Norfolk. Plenty more guests to come in. I'm looking forward to speaking to more people in a moment. First, Joe has got your BBC Radio Norfolk Sport.
Thanks very much, Stephen. And one of Norwich City's longest-serving players looks set to be leaving the club.
Krul comes off his line, gets back on his line. Fernandez has to score, and Krul saves it! Tim Krul keeps it out! Norwich City are there! They've knocked Tottenham out of the FA Cup. It was a poor penalty. Krul had to dive the right way. He does. He saves it. And now the Norwich players find extra energy from somewhere. They're running the length of the pitch to go and celebrate with 9,000 Norwich fans. The Canaries are through.
Yeah, goalkeeper Tim Krul is reportedly on the verge of joining Premier League side Luton Town, ending his 5-year stay at Carrow Road. The Dutch international has made 169 appearances and won the Championship title twice as City's number one, but lost his place to Angus Gunn last season. The Norwich hierarchy appear to be acting quickly to replace the 35-year-old. The Pinkin are reporting that Millwall keeper George Long is expected to join City in the coming days. Long played 37 times for Millwall last campaign, but hasn't featured so far this season. Staying with football, and at the Women's World Cup, Spain are through to the final for the first time in their history. They beat Sweden 2-1 in Auckland, with captain Olga Carmona scoring their winning goal in the 89th minute. Meanwhile, England play the co-hosts Australia tomorrow in Sydney in the other semi-final. The England captain Millie Bright has told the BBC today the Lionesses are really excited about the match and ready to perform. In the Premier League, the three officials at the centre of last night's penalty controversy in the match between Manchester United and Wolves have not been selected for this weekend's games. Referee Simon Hooper, VAR Michael Salisbury and assistant VAR Richard West failed to award Wolves a penalty at Old Trafford after United's goalkeeper Andre Onana clattered into Sasa Kaladzic. The error prompted apologies to Wolves from the PGMOL referees Chief Howard Webb and John Moss, the head of the elite group of Premier League referees. Elsewhere, Arsenal have signed Spanish goalkeeper David Raya on a season-long loan from Brentford with the option to make the move permanent, and Kevin De Bruyne could miss the next 4 months of the season as Manchester City decide whether he needs surgery on a hamstring injury. According to manager Pep Guardiola, the 32-year-old limped off after 23 minutes in City's opening win against Burnley at Turf Moor on Friday. Kingsland Town travel to Curzon Ashton in the National League North this evening. Curzon come off the back of a 3-0 loss away to Hereford and find themselves winless from the first two games. Linnets manager Mark Hughes told BBC Radio Norfolk that their opponents have been playing some of the best teams in the league.
Really good team. I thought when they come to our place last year, I know we won 2-0, but they're probably one of the better sides we played. Away from home, it was a 1-1 draw. We were 1-0 down, so it's going to be a really tough game. I said 2 weeks ago, it's a tough start, Hereford, Chester and Curzon, because I feel as if us four sides will all be up the top end of the table. So yeah, it's a really good test for us, but one thing's for sure, that they have a lovely surface up there which will suit our style of play, and I know the boys will relish that.
It's a busy night of local football in the Thurlow Nunn Premier Division. There's a Magpie derby at Aldis Park as Dereham Town host Heacham. There's two more all Norfolk affairs as Mulbarton host Harleston, while Sheringham face Norwich United, and Downham Town will be looking to make it 3 wins from 3 since promotion. They visit Ely City. On to cricket, and it's the third and final day of the Norfolk's Minor Counties Championship match with Suffolk at Manor Park. Nick Bowler is there for us, and it looks set to be a tight finish, Nick.
Certainly does. We just resumed after tea, and we've just had a big 6, which has certainly eased the pressure for Norfolk. 141 for 7 they are. It's been a really bizarre day because Suffolk began day 3 on 95 without loss, but 11 wickets fell in the first session. Not 12 because Alex Oxley didn't bat for Suffolk, but Suffolk were all out for 156. Opener Jack Beaumont bowled by Andy Hamby early for 62. Opening partner Ollie Burl. Those two looked so comfortable last night in the final session. He was third to go for 44. And of the 3 wickets to fall...
Oh, we do appear to have lost Nick, but Norfolk do seem on the verge of victory, and we'll have an update for you at 5 o'clock in the sport headlines. Just to finish, England captain Owen Farrell is clear to play in the Rugby World Cup after his red card in Saturday's warm-up match with Wales at the Twickenham was overturned. A disciplinary panel reviewing the incident cited a change in dynamic in the contact area as a mitigation. Yesterday it was announced that Norfolk scrum half Jack van Portfleet would miss the World Cup because of an ankle injury. England's campaign gets underway on September the 9th against Argentina. That's all your BBC Radio Norfolk Sport for now, Stephen.
And I know what Nick Bowler's like. If anything like that goes wrong, he always throws his head in his hands and generally misses. Thanks very much. Joe's going to be back with an update. And Richard Pearce is in the studio. It's great having you here. And
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
And just everyone, as I was saying a little bit earlier on. There's the elephant in the room. We all know what everyone is thinking and feeling, but
we've been talking about it on Radio Stradbroke. I won't go any further than that. But I tell you, I think Martin would have sworn on air this morning if he wasn't so conscientious.
So I didn't want the last programme to be a rant. I wanted it to be very much about you and I, folks, and just the fun we've had along the way. And every text message has been very, very special to us. And you've got a right wicked sense of humour on some of the stuff that's come through over the years.
Special, like what Jeff said. Afternoons for me will not be the same.
But
impossible.
Some of the messages they've sent us, we can't read them out half of them.
Good, print them off. Let me take them home.
There was one here from Robert in Harleston. He messaged Sam, the wonderful Sam. We bigged up, gave Sam, I can't big him up enough, the producer. So can I get Stephen to do Mr. Kipling one last time? Do you remember the adverts, Mr. Kipling?
Yes, of course I do.
Now, for the benefit of those of you who don't, the Mr. Kipling cake adverts had a very, very, very unsafe, well, just a weird voiceover, wasn't it?
Yes, very strange.
And he'd be sort of, I'll do it for you now. Mr. Kipling makes exceedingly good cakes. He offered me one of his fondant fingers. Sadly, Mrs. Kipling had other ideas.
Hi, Stephen. It's Jason here from Deepdale. From all our team, we just wanted to say a huge thank you, both for all your support over the years and for the entertainment. We'll miss you. Hope the future brings you lots of happiness.
Song
about Boy Meets Girl there, and waiting for a star to fall. Sorry, that was a bit loud there, as my microphone was turned up after my Mr. Kipling moment. Boy Meets Girl with Mr. Kipling King. Now, in the studio, I'm happy to say that we've got some very special people over from the Theatre Royal, because, it's one of the local organisations that's been a huge friend to the afternoon show, Norwich Theatre Royal. Can you imagine some of the starstruck moments I've had? More recently, I've interviewed Craig Revel Horwood, and I remember when we had Nigel Havers and Stephen Tompkinson in the studio all in one hit. Alexandra Burke was outrageous. And we've just had some great guests. So Steve Crocker is here in the studio with us. Stephen, good to have you in. And nice to see Rebecca as well. Good to see you as well. How are you?
Hello, Stephen. It's lovely to be here on your last show. I can't believe it.
I know, but in all seriousness, just being able to get out to the theatre and see some of those wonderful shows you put on. What's it actually like working in that environment?
It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. No 2 days are the same, and it's just such energy and buzz. Yeah, can't beat it.
And that business that something we all have in common is the show must go on.
Absolutely. And Stephen, I wanted to take the opportunity to say an enormous thank you to you for all the support you've given to Norwich Theatre Royal, to Playhouse, but I'm sure I speak on behalf of my colleagues across arts and theatre in Norfolk in the time that you've given, not just kind of meeting the stars of our shows, chatting, the amount of chats we've had about all sorts of rubbish, but actually the time that you take to research and to understand what it is that we do. That's really special, and you absolutely don't get that everywhere. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much for saying that. That's very kind, and it's doing a little bit of background information, getting a bit of research under your belt will never do you any harm whatsoever, will it?
Well, that's it, isn't it? I think, we're really conscious when we send artists performing in our shows across to do interviews wherever, that we kind of go, I hope they don't get asked the same questions again. And you never, ever fail to surprise with something that you've come up with, and they always come back buzzing. And that's part of their experience of being in Norfolk, I think all performers know they have to do this kind of stuff. You're going to have this quite soon in your own show. You're going to be PR'd yourself, aren't you, quite soon? That actually that's part of that enjoyable experience for you.
And Penelope Keith, she was another one of the guests we had. Go back a few years. And somebody said she's a bit particular about how much time she gives to an interview. And we were only going to get 10 minutes, and I think we managed an hour.
Absolutely. But there you go. You see that, don't you, where you're talking to somebody and then there's like a wall starts to dissolve where you make that connection, because they know you're not just asking a load of stock questions that somebody might have given to you. You've actually, looked into it and are listening to their responses. That's the other thing.
That's the point. The point is that really good radio sounds easy, but actually it's really difficult. You have to have done your homework. You need to know how to put people at their ease. You have to be personable, and the listening thing is really important. Everyone thinks your job's a talky job, but actually your job has been a listening job, and that's why you do such good radio.
Oh, thank you. That's something that's always fascinated me with theatre, when you've got shows on and you've got some of the really big names, the real A-listers. What's it like having them in the building? What's it like for security? What's it like if, I don't know how can I put it, not tantrums as such, but there's a bit of tension when you have to get a show right, something isn't quite right, it needs fixing. What's it like dealing with those people?
Are you asking, have they got big egos?
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I think one of the things I've learnt over the years is the bigger the myth that follows somebody or comes in advance of somebody, generally, the nicer they are. You can often be really disarmed if you're kind of, if I know I'm going to go backstage and meet somebody, I'm thinking, oh gosh, I could be in for it here. And then you meet them, and actually quite the opposite. Often, don't believe the myth, meet the person.
I won't mention any particular names off the back of that, but I remember just during Set and Light and during some sound checks, I was over at your place for a big show, and one of the stars of the show just happened to walk out onto the stage just to check it out, and I'd already been told he won't give you an interview. Moody, he's just so abrupt. And I said, hello, Stephen from Radio Norfolk, have you got a moment to... Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, come on, do you want to do it here? Do I go and sit down somewhere? And he gave us one of the nicest interviews ever.
Absolutely, you know, you can't believe all of these myths, but I will say, Stephen, when you write your book, I think it's going to be quite a gripping sort of tell-all. I think there's a lot of stories you've got to share about this.
I did give him a pen and a notebook for his birthday about 5 years ago. I think all he's done is scribble his name into it, correct?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Look, thanks both of you, Rebecca and Stephen, for coming in. Really appreciate it. And please pass on all out from everyone here at BBC Radio Norfolk our thanks and best wishes to everyone at Theatre Royal.
Thank you, Stephen.
I've got a Norwich Theatre Royal teddy being
and we're presenting you, Stephen.
Thank you very
with
much.
The Norwich Theatre Royal bear. A huge thank you to you from us all.
I shall hug him and play with him and pet him all the time. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, pass on my best to everyone there, right across the board. And especially the lighting department, who gave you some coloured lighting gels for my model making.
We will.
Yeah,
we absolutely will.
Thanks very much for that. You take care. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's Stephen Bumfrey. It's the last show. Richard Pearce is here. We're going to go for a beer in a little while, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. 5 o'clock. No, that's a joke.
No.
We'll do the news hour from the pub.
There's a thought, man. Onto the roads then. It's, where are we? 12 minutes to 5. Slow because of diverting traffic from the roadwork closure on Vancouver Avenue, Kings Lynn. That's on the A149 Queen Elizabeth Way, heading south to the Queen Elizabeth roundabout. Also, Kings Lynn, slow on London Road between Blackfriars Road and Southgate's roundabout. At Gaywood, there's the usual congestion on Gayton Road between Queen Elizabeth roundabout and Clock Tower traffic lights. I will just have a little peep at the speed sensor, see how we're doing. Acle Straight, Runham roundabout way, Great Yarmouth A47, not looking too bad. Just slow in either direction around Honningham on the A47 at the moment. Elsewhere, though, not looking too bad. If you do spot anything that the rest of the county needs to know, and you can update me safely, it's 0800 389 7321.
The sound of Norfolk.
Matthew Gudgeon.
Last time on Sunday Breakfast, a new report into the future of Norfolk's historic churches.
One of the things we discovered as part of the commission is the public as a whole really appreciate those churches. But what they don't understand is who's responsible for their upkeep.
And harvesting the foxglove seeds with Chris Skinner.
And I reckon from this one plant, 8,000 to 10,000 seeds. And look at this.
You're left with a brown, not quite a powder, but very fine. Sunday Breakfast back again this weekend, anytime from 6 a.m.
The sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
There's a song that God only knows, and it's keeping me dancing. Nobody here knows how the melody goes, but it's keeping me dancing. Oh Lord, here I go. I get the highs, but why the lows? They set me up with all these souls, and I watch them fall like dominoes. Too long I've been on my feet. Need more time, but it don't come cheap. Someday I'll be on my knees, and I pray my heart don't miss a beat. But here I am, and I feel that rhythm. It's the lifeline that I've been given. All these colors in my head, and I ask myself, is it over? Oh, there's a song that God only knows, and it's keeping me dancing. Nobody here knows how the melody goes, but it's keeping me dancing beside you. Beside you.
Blunts. This is great, isn't it? Beside You. Hope he keeps it coming more like this, boys and girls. BBC Radio Norfolk, 8 minutes away from 5. Got the news hour for you, of course. Now, the power of music is being used by a men's support group to create new friendships and to bring people together. Sound Connections is one of the projects run by Men's Craft who work across Norfolk. Now, the idea is simple. Each Wednesday, people meet and suggest a song to play to the group, usually on a theme chosen the previous week. Sometimes it's just a favourite tune, but it often sparks a wider conversation and an opportunity to share challenges, like Alex did.
Hi everyone. So a few sessions ago I opened up to you all about my 6-year-old boy and me being autistic. I think it's a testament to this group and to all of you as such just loving people that I felt like I was able to open up in this environment. So it's a recent discovery. I literally turned 40 about a week and a half ago, and it was just a couple of weeks before my birthday really, and I was struggling. I was having a tough moment and just had the playlist on, and a song came on, and it just, where I was struggling for the words to describe how I was feeling in that moment, this song kind of just spoke for me, and it was Bring Me the Horizon, Lost, but he very well may be coming from a completely different angle, but I think that's the beauty of it, is that you find something in a song that you can relate to, that speaks to you.
I think this group, people find it useful for several reasons. I think, first of all, as men, we often tend to isolate ourselves when we're feeling less than ourselves, and just having that moment in the week where people can come together and be around other people and share something potentially meaningful to them, share something less meaningful but just makes them happy or excited or whatever they want to do. I think just having that focal point people can come back to week after week after week, it seems to be really useful for a lot of the people. There are people who, for one reason or another, find themselves alone in life at the moment, or they just find the rest of their lives very stressful, or they just find themselves a bit amiss, and just having a focal point where they can express themselves, where they can share times with people without judgment, I think that's very, very useful for everyone, but for the people who come here, I think that's very good.
So it's kind of like a safe space, in the sense that, and it's a music club, we're all into music. It's our passion. But at the same time, if we tried to sell it as anything else, then we probably wouldn't get people coming along. The fact that some of you guys, most of you guys, at some point through music are able to talk about stuff that is deeply personal to you is just a privilege to be around you, and that you feel comfortable around us as well. It's kind of what it's all about.
Wow. That kicks, doesn't it? That's Steve and Richard, who run Sound Connections, one of the Men's Craft projects. You also heard from Alex, who spoke about why Lost by Bring Me the Horizon has helped him with his recent autism diagnosis, and there'll be plenty more songs and reflections from Sound Connections on the Tuesday Takeover. That's tonight from 6 here at BBC Radio Norfolk. Richard's in the studio. Now, Richard, a published author, a well-established published author, also now a lyricist and a poet. And we've only got a couple of minutes to
Yes, this is called Radioland, and it's for Stephen Bumfrey. We could have had another 100 years of programming, because you always brought out the best words in me. Someone warned me that Radioland was full of brigands and pretenders who would ambush anyone and misshape their phrases. It wasn't like that at all. The first time I sat in your studio, your warm voice thawed me, and it seemed strange to be able to be real behind a microphone. I thought even then I was too old to make new friends, much less real ones like you. and some of those who shared this space. That was what your radio did for me. And all the words and all the phrases and all the songs sung by other voices came from you. So now, let's start again.
Thank you very much, Richard Pearce.
You're very welcome. I've been working on that for 2 months, and it only came together at 20 to 10 this morning.
Do you know what I really like? The old "Let's Start Again" bit at the end there.
I thought you might, and there's a handwritten copy of it there, which is worth its
Thank
weight
you.
in gold.
Bless
It
your
weighs
heart.
nothing at all.
In this. Great, man.
Thanks for having me on today.
No, it's always a pleasure having you in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for you for tuning in. And can I just say, just coming up to 5 o'clock, Matthew's got the 5 o'clock news with you. Obviously, it's pointless me sitting here with a gigantic ego if no one's going to come and massage it for me now and then, and you've certainly done that for us this afternoon. But one thing I will say, apart from tuning in and sending in the messages and being involved with BBC Radio Norfolk generally, you pay our wages, and I haven't lost sight of that, and I thank you very much for that. Hello to John Bultitude. He sent me a message and he's got so many memories of some of the dreadful things he used to get me to do. Dressing up as a dame on stage with Richard Gauntlet was one of them. Learning the art of the quick change, looking scared to death, being taken around the stage for an ice show, clinging on for dear life to 2 burly Eastern European skaters. Strangely enough, I do remember that. Trying out the latest scary rides at Yarmouth Pleasure Beach and the many fantastic celebrity interviews. Thank you very much for that, John Bultitude. You've helped this show enormously over the years.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Norfolk.
and on your radio.
The sound of Norfolk is
BBC Radio Norfolk.
It's 5 o'clock, the BBC News for Norfolk with Matthew Gudgeon. An apology has been issued by Norfolk Police after an accidental release of data concerning victims of serious crimes. It involves more than 1,200 victims, suspects and witnesses. The details were wrongly included in Norfolk and Suffolk Constabulary's responses to some Freedom of Information requests between 2021 and 22. The Assistant Chief Constable, Eamon Bridger, issued this apology.
I recognise the seriousness of this incident. I take the opportunity to apologise that this data breach has occurred. I deeply regret.
Acted as an advisor to the Bulgarian Ministry of Energy. The trio are due to go on trial in London in January.
Government ministers have announced next year's increase in the price of railway tickets will be below inflation. The rise is usually in line with inflation as measured by Retail Price Index. Data to be released tomorrow, though, is expected to show RPI at about 9%. A small crowd has gathered to mark the 25th anniversary of the Omagh bombing in Northern Ireland. 29 people, including a woman pregnant with twins, were killed when a device planted by the real IRA went off on Saturday the 15th of August 1998. Some bereaved family members laid single white roses at the scene of the attack before observing a minute's silence. Back home, and one of the Scroby Sands wind turbines has been badly damaged by fire. Black smoke was seen billowing from the wind farm, which is clearly visible from the beach at Great Yarmouth. The company involved says no one was hurt. It appears the fire has now burnt itself out, although it's still smouldering. David Young is a regular beachgoer at Yarmouth, going for his morning swim, and he told us he couldn't believe what he was seeing.
The whole thing is going up. So I'm just laying here now waiting for the emergency services to come. And that tower, that's the one that's been there for about the last week doing maintenance. Because they've had the top off it. And so something's gone wrong with the maintenance.
Private aircraft owners at a small Breckland airfield say they'd like to speak with the owner to secure its heritage. Shipton Airfield was constructed during the Second World War and was used by American airmen. But now it's facing closure, with the owners wanting to do something different for the site. Pilot Roy Allgood says he and others would like to meet with the landowners and work with them.
The landowners, we haven't been able to speak to see if we could compromise on something. We really wanted to find out what their plans were. If we could fit round their plans by a smaller operation, then that's what we'd love to do.
And a pair of refurbished tennis courts in Norwich are back in use after investment by the Lawn Tennis Association. The council-owned courts at Harford and Alderman Walker Parks have had £220,000 spent on them. The facilities are available again if you've got a membership, or you can pay the £6 per hour. Used to be 50p per hour in my day. Radio Norfolk Sport now, and it's game, set and match to Joe Dean.
Thanks very much, Matthew. Norwich City goalkeeper Tim Krul is reportedly on the verge of joining Premier League side Luton Town after 5 years at Carrow Road. The Canaries are set to sign Millwall keeper George Long as his replacement as backup to number 1 Angus Gunn. Ahead of their World Cup semi-final against Australia tomorrow, England captain Millie Bright says they can't wait to get out onto the pitch. Should they get past the Aussies, the Lionesses will face Spain in Sunday's final after they overcame Sweden 2-1 earlier. And in the cricket, it's going to be a tense finish on the third and final day at Manor Park in the Minor Counties Championship. Norfolk needing 180 to beat Suffolk. A few moments ago, Norfolk were 164 for 9, needing another 16 runs for victory. We'll have more on that at 5:30 with Nick Bowler.
All right, thanks very much, Joe Dean, with your BBC Radio Norfolk sport there. Julie Ranger is checking in with us for a weather forecast for your Tuesday evening. Keep thinking it's Friday for a Tuesday evening. And what a gorgeous start to the day, and what a fabulous afternoon it's been.
Oh, wasn't it gorgeous? And talking of fabulous afternoons, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm hanging on in there. Thanks very much. Bit emotional.
Yeah, what big balloons you have.
Thank you. I thought they may have offended you. I'd have crossed my legs, but it's been lovely, and I've been very, very touched, very humbled. I must be honest with you. It's been wonderful.
Well, we all consider it an absolute pleasure to have worked with you. Pleasure and a privilege.
Poor old Sam. I've hardly had a chance to have Sam in the studio for a chat, 'cause he's such a star. As too is Paul Hayes, who produces the News Hour and has done for some time and been looking after me. What I'd do without these people, I just don't know. They've looked after me well.
Well, you are a top team, the Three Musketeers. But hey, Mr. Bumfrey, this may be my final forecast with you. But think of all the breakfast we can now have together.
Yeah, I know. Shush. It's Out of the Bag on BBC Radio Norfolk. So, what's happening tonight and tomorrow then? Weather-wise.
Weather-wise, yeah. Moving swiftly on. Well, the showers we were expecting, for most of us, haven't materialised. We've had an odd one out there, but they'll tend to fade away, so it's a largely dry evening. We have got some thicker areas of cloud, but also some blue sky and sunshine out there to end the day. And tonight, long clear spells and some patchy mist and fog. Lowest temperatures, well, similar to last night, around 10 to 14 Celsius, with light and variable winds. So any mist and fog we get will be short-lived tomorrow morning. We'll have a gentle east to northeasterly breeze and spells of August sunshine. We may see an odd shower in places, but for many of us it'll again be a dry day, with top temperatures, well, similar to today's, around 23 to 24 Celsius. We may just see a bit more cloud drifting onto parts of our coastline later tomorrow. And then Thursday, wee chance of a shower, but overall a dry day with spells of summer sunshine, although the winds are likely to pick up through Thursday, so becoming breezier. And Friday, well, the rain we were expecting on Friday is now sped up a bit. So after a dry start, rain pushing in from the southwest, and then another area of rain following in behind for Friday evening and night. And some of this could be on the heavy and thundery side. But despite the rain, it will be relatively warm by day on Friday, followed by a very warm night. Absolute lows of around 17 Celsius. So potentially a tropical night in parts of the county if temperatures don't drop below 20 degrees Celsius. And the weekend, apart from the very small chance of a shower, mainly on Sunday, dry with spells of warm sunshine. We're likely to have a fairly keen southwesterly wind on Saturday, with highest temperatures over the weekend of around 26 degrees Celsius.
I don't mind if it's the southwesterly. It's when it comes from the northeast I complain.
Wow.
But, you know.
Yeah, we had that start of June, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Kept blowing and blowing. But then it all changed, and come the 9th, it was all beautiful and sunny. Funny you should mention this, because I'm going to be talking about our summer, or lack of it, on tonight's Look East.
See, I might have to go to the BBC iPlayer to watch it, though, because, you know.
Yeah, I think you might be a wee bit merry after this programme.
Who? Me?
The sound of Norfolk.
And all the music you love. BBC Radio Norfolk. I thought my world was crumbling when I woke up and you weren't in my bed, and I was left to wondering how you could walk away and never turn I found the truth. I was searching for me in you. Now I'm better off without you, and it's finally clear to see that the person I was missing, it's not you, it's me. Now I'm better off without you, and I've never felt so free. 'Cause the person I was missing, it's not you, it's me. I tried so hard to please you, but nothing that I did would work. Oh, and all the things that we've been through. Now it's time to start putting me first. Tried to right all your wrongs. I never thought that I'd be lost, but I found the truth. I was searching for me in you. Now I'm better off without you, and it's finally clear to see that the person I was missing, it's not you, it's me. Now I'm better off without you, and I've never felt so free. 'Cause the person I was missing, it's not you, it's me. Better up, better up, I'm better up without you. Better up, better up, I'm better up without you. Thought my world was crumbling when I woke up and you weren't in my bed, and I was left to wondering how you could walk away and never turn back. 'Cause I'm better off without you, and I've never felt so free. 'Cause the person I was missing, it's not you, it's me. Better up, better up, I'm better up without you. Better up, better up,
Shift K3Y there, and Becky Hill with Better Off Without You, BBC Radio Norfolk. It's the news hour. In a short while, we'll have Andrew Turner in the studio with more on the Windfire maintenance crews who are keeping watch on the charred remains of a turbine off Great Yarmouth, which has been destroyed by fire. That was Scroby Sands wind farm just before 11 this morning. And Andrew will have the details on that. But we begin the news hour with news that the personal information of over 1,000 people has been accidentally released in Freedom of Information requests by Norfolk and Suffolk Police. It includes descriptions of sexual and domestic assaults relating to victims, witnesses and suspects. The forces announced the data breach this morning by saying it was sent in FOI responses due to a technical issue. They also claim that the data was hidden from anyone opening the files. Assistant Chief Constable Eamon Bridger is leading the police response to the breach, and he's been speaking to the BBC's Ben Parker.
In January of this year, a police staff member recognised that we had provided a response to a Freedom of Information request, and in that response was data that should not have been shared. The data was not clearly, obviously, present, but it was there, and it contained information pertaining to victims of crime, suspects of crime and witnesses to crime, which included personal data that belonged to them. Once we became aware of that situation, we took immediate steps to react. We put in place a dedicated team of experts to fully assess and help us understand the complex data that was present. We took all reasonable steps we could to remove it from the public domain. And we then worked through a series of individual assessments on every single case to help us to prepare to be able to then make contact with those affected in the safest way possible to provide them the insight around the data breach that has occurred.
And so how does something like this happen?
So it's important to recognise that the management of information is a complex area of policing. especially when we're talking about huge volumes of data that is held. Freedom of information requests are plentiful to the organisation, and we do everything that we reasonably can to comply with our duties and obligations around responding to researchers and the media and other individuals who do make requests of us for data. Because of the volumes involved and the complexity of that work, occasionally things can go wrong. Obviously, we're not fully completed in our internal investigation at this stage, so can't go into too much detail as things are. However, we've already conducted a rapid internal review of policy and procedure to minimise the likelihood of these things happening again, and in time and through compliance with reporting to the Information Commissioner, we will satisfy and describe exactly how this has happened.
We're talking about people who are victims of sexual crimes, domestic abuse, some of the most vulnerable people that you will deal with. What's your message to them?
So firstly, I recognise the seriousness of this incident. I take the opportunity to apologise that this data breach has occurred. I deeply regret any concern that it has caused to any member of the public, whether it be those that are directly affected by this breach or indeed indirectly by the announcements today. Over coming days and weeks, we will be taking steps to contact everybody who has been affected directly, to listen to their concerns and provide them advice around their ongoing safeguarding.
And victims in the future, if they're listening to this now, they could very reasonably have some doubts about their data being secure if they come forward to you. How can you reassure them?
So we remain absolutely committed to servicing the needs of victims of crime in Norfolk and Suffolk. We have a workforce that are absolutely dedicated to trying to do the best to safeguard people and to bring offenders to justice. We would urge people to still come forward with any information or any reports of crime that they have. We have already taken steps to review policy and procedure. We've already taken action to change, and I am reassured that breaches of this nature will not happen in the future. This is an ongoing process, though, so where there are things still to be learned, we will continue to react.
And just finally, Suffolk and Norfolk police forces work in partnership over a number of issues. It seems data handling is one of those. Is that partnership working?
So we have a very strong collaboration between the two forces. There are certain areas of our business that work exceptionally effectively and stronger together than they would be as standalone. We continue to review all those processes, and this is an example where we are taking the learning points and doing things differently where we can. We remain committed to that collaboration. The interests of the people of Norfolk and Suffolk and us being as efficient and as effective as we can to deliver quality policing requires that collaboration to be a success. There are many examples of really strong collaborative policing that I could quote to you, but again, as ever, we will reflect on these situations and working with the two chief officer teams to make sure that in this circumstance and all others, where there is learning that can be taken, we will take that across all disciplines of policing.
Assistant Chief Constable Eamon Bridges speaking to Ben Parker about the Norfolk Police data breach. You can hear much more about this on the Breakfast Show with Anna Pero tomorrow morning from 6 here at BBC Radio Norfolk. So in a moment or two, more on that wind turbine fire on Scrobie Sands a little bit earlier on today. First, let me check out the situation on the county's roads for you. I will actually just have a little look at these speed sensors. They're not doing too bad, actually, truth be known. Just a little bit busy on the A149 Queen Elizabeth Way, Kings Lynn. There also Kings Lynn, Edward Benefit Way between St Nicholas Retail Park and South Wootton. It's taken apparently an extra 15 minutes to get through there at the moment. And just looking a little bit further afield, the A140 is closed from Brockford Green to Weatheringset because of an earlier accident. Public transport, just to let you know that buses are running instead of trains on Greater Anglia between Colchester and Ipswich because of a fallen tree on the line at Manningtree affecting services across the network. More in about 25 minutes, half an hour from now. 0800 389 7321, the free phone number to call.
Making a difference in Norfolk.
Radio Norfolk's always on in the office, and you've done so much to help promote things we've done over the past. Brilliant radio station.
Helping our community.
Special thanks to BBC Norfolk. They've always been really supportive to our cause, and the programs they produce, it's amazing what you do, and it's fantastic. You are a truly local channel. Absolutely.
This is what we do.
Well, I was listening to you on the radio to what you were saying, and I want to come and give a donation.
The sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
Wind farm maintenance crews are keeping watch on the charred remains of a turbine off Great Yarmouth, which has been destroyed by fire. Now, the blaze broke out in one of the turbines at the Scroby Sands wind farm just before 11 this morning. Drone pictures show the
nacelle.
The nacelle, the bit that contains the thanks, Andrew. The bit that contains the gearbox and generator destroyed, and one of the blades badly damaged. Now, the RWE, the company that owns and operates the site, says the turbine is still smouldering, and it's got people on standby to contain any debris that's fallen into the water or onto the sandbank. Andrew's here. He was reporting from the beach earlier, within a few minutes of the blaze being spotted. He's in the studio with me now. So it was quite a sight there, and lots of pictures doing the rounds on social media and news sites.
Absolutely, and I've shown you some of the pictures as well, Stephen. Really quite dramatic, and you can imagine with today's weather, there had been lots of people on the beach, sunbathing, swimming, and suddenly this huge plume of black smoke became the focal point, the topic of conversation. Nobody was in danger. That's the crucial thing. RWE, the German-owned power generation company which operates Scroby Sand, says that the team members were all accounted for, and so nobody has been hurt, and I understand nobody faced serious danger. But with a moderate southwest wind, the smoke billowed out for what looked like miles out to sea. It lightened slightly in colour from after about 15 minutes, from a pitch black to more of a charcoal colour. It then, after about half an hour, suddenly began to billow smoke out from the lower part of the tower in the area where the crew access door is, and smoke was still coming out of it, more light grey and white smoke from the top, even about an hour and a half, 2 hours later. It was certainly enough to get people that I met on the beach talking and speculating.
Oh, well, we were just sitting here, basically, looked over there and the sky's full of black smoke, so it was just a bit weird. You don't expect to see it when you're sitting on the beach, do you? So, yeah, we saw that big boat over there, and it took a good, half an hour just to get over there to it, so... But it is slowly going out, I think, now, so, yeah.
It's happened before, it's not the first time. We've seen them caught fire before, but I believe they've got diesel generators in them, which is the irony, really, isn't it, of... government saying this is the way forward, wind power, and you get that's not very good, is it?
Well, I came down here for me sunbathe, me swim at about 10:30, and I went to go in for me swim, and I noticed it in me vision, and now I've looked up again, and it's now on. It was on top of the fire at the top. It's now on fire at the bottom as well. So I think it's gone down, if you see what I mean. That's where the smoke's coming out of the hole at the door, if you know what I mean. So I'm just laying here now waiting for the emergency services to come. And that tower that's on the left now at the other windmills, that's the one that's been there for about the last week doing maintenance, because they've had the top off it.
So, Andrew, those are some of the people you spoke to earlier on. Do we actually know what caused this fire?
No, we have no idea about it at all. We did have a message from Norfolk Fire Service saying they were aware of the fire, but they wouldn't be attending. We don't think that Norfolk Fire Service has got a boat capable of getting out there. The Coast Guard also said they were aware of the incident as well, and that the site had been evacuated and everyone accounted for. But RWE, again, the company that owns and operates Scroby Sands wind farm, says that it's too early to say, because the site is still smouldering and they can't put anyone on to check. Now, I asked if there was any fire extinguishing systems or firefighting systems such as sprinklers installed. Apparently not. The fire drill is that any personnel need to evacuate in the event of a fire to a point of safety, and that the fires are pretty much left to burn themselves out. I was told that as well by someone who actually was involved in the construction of Scroby Sands wind farm as well. You just leave the site, get away to safety and let it burn itself out, and that's what they're doing. But RWE said, this is a rarity. It's the first one in the UK, they say, to burn in this way. It's unclear whether or not this is one of the turbines, as that man I met on the beach said, as to whether it had received maintenance work. There has been a jack-up barge in this array of wind farm, which is nearly 20 years old. So I've asked about, whether or not there's something that might need to be looked at with that. But whatever way you look at it, this one turbine is out of action for the foreseeable.
And since the fire, other turbines have been taking out of use as well?
Well, when I first spotted the fire, there was only this one that wasn't turning, but an hour or so later, 3 others had stopped. RWE said that was because they're all attached to the same string. That's their language, the power cable which feeds the electricity to the national grid. Now, this line apparently has been de-energised. The company says it hopes by tomorrow that the 3 that were taken out of action as a precaution will be back in use tomorrow, and that will leave just this one isolated, pending an investigation.
And so, what will it take to actually repair that one turbine, or is it a complete write-off?
Who knows? It looks very seriously damaged. You can see the pictures on the BBC News website. There will be pictures on BBC Look East tonight as well, which have been taken by a drone, which got really good pictures and camera angles up high around that. It's going to take an investigation to find out why it went wrong, why it caught fire. I've asked RWE whether the other turbines, those still running, in fact, whether they will be checked as well, or whether there's a risk they could go the same way, but apparently it's too early to say that. I asked again if it was a total write-off. Again, no answer. But the Scroby Sands was built as a 2 megawatt turbine array, and today modern turbines are 3.5 times more powerful. They're 7 megawatts, much bigger, much more powerful. And so I asked the question whether it's even possible to buy a suitable turbine to put on that size of tower. Again, no answer. Of course, Scroby Sands being the second offshore wind farm to be built in the country, it's nearing the end of its licensed period, and although that can be renewed, it might be the case that it ends up to be more economical to abandon this one tower and to wait a bit more time and redevelop the entire site, perhaps with bigger, more powerful turbines, because, as we know, we need the electricity. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next.
Andrew, for the time being, thanks very much. Andrew Turner there. Coming up in a moment or two on this, the News Hour, 3 Bulgarian nationals who have lived in the UK for years have been arrested under the Official Secrets Act, and it follows a raid on a property in Great Yarmouth where one of them was living. I'll have details on that one for you very, very soon. Dua Lipa first. This is Dance the Night. Stephen Bumfrey at BBC Radio Norfolk, 26 minutes past 5.
Tonight, I can take the heat, baby, best believe that's the moment I shine. 'Cause every romance shakes and it bends, don't give a damn. When the night's here, I don't do tears, baby, no chance. I could dance, I could dance, I could dance. Watch me dance, dance the night away. My heart could be burning, but you won't see it on my face. Watch me no steps, 'cause every romance shakes and it
The wonderful Dua Lipa for you there. Dance the night at BBC Radio Norfolk, where in just a few minutes from now, Joe Dean will be footing it to the studio for your BBC Radio Norfolk Sport. Now, 3 Bulgarian nationals who have lived in the UK for years have been arrested under the Official Secrets Act. Now, it follows a raid on a property in Great Yarmouth where one of them was living. Now, the 3 have been charged with possessing fake passports and identity cards. It is alleged they were working for the Russian security services. And our correspondent, Daniel de Simon, has more on this.
They're charged with possessing fake identity documents with improper intention. And those documents comprise passports, identity cards, driving licenses for up to 9 different countries, including the UK and Bulgaria. And the documents were found when the counter-terrorism officers who have responsibility for sort of espionage investigations raided properties in London and Great Yarmouth back in February, and they arrested the 3 defendants in this case and 2 other people. The 2 other people have been bailed. And the 3 people charged are Orlin Rusev, Biza Jambazov, and his partner, Katrin Ivanova. The latter 2 lived as a couple in London, and Mr. Orlin Rusev has an address which is actually a seaside guest house in Great Yarmouth. They're accused of being intelligence assets, spies for Russia, but they've been living in the UK for between 10 and 15 years. Mr. Rusev came here to work in a technical role in financial services, and he did that for 3 years. He then, according to his own online LinkedIn profile, went on to own a business that had an involvement in signals intelligence, which actually involves the interception of communications. The other 2, the couple, lived in a series of suburban properties in Harrow in northwest London. They also had a property at one point in Croydon. And they told neighbours that they worked in healthcare jobs, and they did own and promoted online a sort of a local community organisation which supported Bulgarian people who come into the UK. So it kind of taught them English, helped them with immigration matters. And they've all been here for several years, and they are associates. And that was sort of known to people who knew them.
Daniel de Simone reporting there outside the property in Great Yarmouth today, where the raid took place earlier this year. These people gave us their reaction.
I had no idea. I've been here 2 weeks and I've just found that out, so that's really shocking, to be fair.
They had this big tent thing up, and there was a lot of coming and goings, plain-clothed police people, all in black, with masks and things on. But I kind of tried to get a little bit of information out of someone, but no one was telling us anything.
We used to live here, and they bought the hotel, but never opened it. It had just been all refurbished before they bought it, and they never opened it. You never saw them. They never had visitors or anything like that. I spoke to his wife a couple of times because I took in some packages. But, yeah, that's all you saw there was deliveries.
Yeah, it's quite amazing to listen. I mean, obviously we've heard stories like this. We've had stories in the past, but someone staying local next door to us, it's a news which came from you to me today. Paint is happening, decoration is happening. You feel, okay, someone new is moving in. And then after a while during the season, you don't see any activity around happening.
It's the news hour at BBC Radio Norfolk. In a few minutes, what about this one? In a few minutes' time, many people like to, you might like to take a book to the beach with you, to have a little read in the summer. But in Lowestoft this week, that's been taken just a little bit of step further. A whole library has been brought to the seaside with 2 beach huts being taken over. That story for you very soon. Now, just coming up to 5:33, Joe Dean is in the hot seat with your BBC Radio Norfolk Sport.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Norwich City goalkeeper Tim Krul is reportedly on the verge of joining Premier League side Luton Town, ending his 5-year stay at Carrow Road. The Dutch international has made 169 appearances and won the Championship title twice as City's number 1, but lost his place to Angus Gunn last season. The Norwich hierarchy appear to be acting quickly to replace the 35-year-old. The Pink 'Un are reporting that Millwall keeper George Long is expected to join City in the coming days. Long played 37 times for Millwall last campaign, but hasn't featured so far this season. At the Women's World Cup, England are preparing for tomorrow's semi-final against the co-host Australia in Sydney. The winners will face Spain after they overcame Sweden 2-1 in a thrilling semi-final in Auckland. A dramatic finish to the game culminated in captain Olga Carmona scoring the winner in the 89th minute, just moments after Sweden had levelled at 1-1. It's the Lionesses' turn tomorrow, and the captain, Millie Bright, says they can't wait to get out onto the pitch at Stadium Australia.
Really excited. Yeah, I think it's tournament football. It's game after game after game, and I think that's what you like the momentum. But yeah, the girls and myself just really excited to get out there now and get to bed as early as possible so that we get to game day quicker. But no, yeah, everyone's in great spirits, and like I said, we're just ready to perform now.
The Kingston Town manager Mark Hughes says tonight's test against Curzon is the perfect game to move on. Lynn lost 3-0 away to Chester at the weekend and yet to get a win in their first 2 games in the National League North. Hughes told BBC Radio Norfolk that having a game so close after a defeat is the best way to get over it.
Perfect. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it really is. We trained yesterday, we debriefed it, and yeah, it's the best way to move on, and then we'll have a home tie against Gloucester Saturday. So the games are coming thick and fast, and I think players at this stage of the season just want games.
It's a busy night of local football in the Thurlow Nunn Premier Division. There's a Magpie derby at Alders Park as Dereham Town host Heacham, and there's 2 more all-Norfolk affairs as Malt Barton host Harleston, while Sheringham face Norwich United, and Downham Town will be looking to make it 3 wins from 3 since promotion. They visit Ely City. In the cricket, Norfolk have suffered an agonising defeat on the 3rd and final day of their Minor Counties Championship game at Manor Park. Nick Bowler is there for us watching.
Yeah, disappointing and potentially very damaging 13-run defeat for Norfolk on an incredibly topsy-turvy day of cricket, a game that they looked set to win, but unfortunately ultimately lost. 11 wickets fell this morning's session, would you believe, to set up the game nicely. Suffolk capitulating were all out for 156 in their second innings, having resumed this morning on 95 without loss, hampered to a degree with Alex Oxley unable to bat. Brett Stallworthy, frustrated yesterday after chances went begging, took 5 for 47, while Ryan Finley took 3 to add to his 5-wicket haul in the first innings. That meant that Norfolk needed 180 to win, and at times it did look comfortable, despite losing Ethan Metcalfe and Ben Wilcox cheaply before lunch. Captain Sam Arston looked set until stumped on 36, and Tom New used all his experience to hit a controlled 53. Wickets, though, continued to fall, and the 180 target became a bigger challenge with each dismissal, and so it ended with the loss of Andy Hamby and Norfolk all out for 166. Their last game is at Lincolnshire this coming weekend, who are also towards the foot of the table. They have to hope that they lose today at Staffordshire and Norfolk do the business starting on Sunday. Norfolk lost by 13 runs.
Thanks very much, Nick. And just to finish, former British Cycling and Team Sky chief Dr. Richard Freeman has been banned from all sport for 4 years for violating anti-doping rules. Freeman was struck off in 2021 because of misconduct after a hearing by the Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service. During the tribunal process, he was charged with 2 violations by UK anti-doping in December 2020. That's all your BBC Radio Norfolk Sport for now, but we'll just say, Stephen.
Yes.
I might not have worked with you for as long as some of the other people have that you've had in here today, but you made things very, very easy for me when I first started and made it very comfortable, because it can be quite intimidating coming into an office like this for the first time. But I remember you making me lunch once, which really made sense.
Yes.
You had chicken and chips in the kitchen just before an afternoon show, and we worked a lot through lockdown as well. With when poor Sam was off, so
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it was a long time.
He milked that, didn't he?
Absolutely, definitely. It's just he's not happy about that, I'm sure.
No, because I mean, you're going to be handing on the baton to people, but I remember being terrified when I started in radio, and I also remember all the people who helped me along the way, and it's just nice to. It's just a natural thing to do now, isn't it? Because
a lot of people won't know, but a lot of the new people that we get in coming and starting here, this is the show that they often get put to work on, because you're so easy to work with, they're so welcoming, and as what some people might say, no diva at all, and it's even when we are messing up behind the scenes, you play it off smoothly, and they'll never know that we're the ones flapping out there getting things wrong.
I thought you were going to say when you get the young work experience people, you put them on this show, and if this doesn't grind them down and break them, then you give them a chance to go on to do something else. Thank you very much, Joe. It's been a pleasure. Linda, because I've got some lovely messages here. I'll just very briefly take you through. Some of them. I'm sorry if this seems a bit rushed, but I've just been blown away. Linda and Emneth, thank you very much for that. Very kind message. And Jim as well. It's been a treat having you tuning in. Marzi and Fakenham, a regular on this station. Thanks for that. Jill in North Walsham, thanks for tuning in. Sarah and Jim as well. Robin Hounslow, thanks very much. I'm particularly pleased Robin Hounslow is listening. When you think of the number of radio stations he could choose down in that neck of the woods. That Raymond from North Walsham. And a few other people have been in touch as well.
Hello, it's Margaret Gray, and I'm the wife of the late Maurice Gray. I just wanted to make a dedication to Stephen on his very last show today. Wanted to say a big thank you to you, Stephen, for allowing us on your show over the years to promote my charity poetry books and also the charity events that me and my late husband Maurice organised. As people probably know, Maurice was a freelance photojournalist and covered lots and lots of events, and Stephen was always there to help us. We were never turned away. We spent many times on the show promoting events, and I just want to wish you all the very best, Stephen, in whatever path you take, and we will always remember you. And Maurice would have not been happy had I not made an effort to give you a big thank you and lots of love and hugs today.
Hello, Mr. Bumfrey. It's Matthew Watson here. How are you? I just wanted to wish you all the best. Thank you so much for supporting me and for my music with Huck, and for being just a lovely man and a wonderful broadcaster. We're going to miss you, and lots of love from me and my lovely wife Claire. We're going to miss you, but hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Thanks very much, Matt Watson there. And I seem to recall when I first came back to BBC Radio Norfolk, the first band I had in the studio was Huck, and Matt there was one of the first people I interviewed. And you know, when we were doing operational training, when we got our new equipment here, Matt gave up his time to be a pretend studio guest while we were rehearsing. And I haven't forgotten that. Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, Alona Gay, and then it's To the Library, Down by the Sand. Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark for you there, and Alona Gay. Now, many people, you may be one of them, like to take a book to the beach with them to read in the summer, but in Lowestoft this week, that's been taken a little step further. A whole library has been brought up to the seaside, with 2 beach huts being taken over. Our reporter, Martha Harrison, has been to take a look.
I'm my name's Sally. So I work across multiple venues as a producer with the libraries, and yeah, we're here in Lowestoft today. We're running a pop-up library from 2 beach huts that the council have kindly lent to us this week, and yeah, we've got some really lovely activity on today, so yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I was just going to say, just explain what we're doing for this whole week.
We're here on Lowestoft South Beach. We're at beach huts number 57 and 58, and we've got some really lovely free family activity running from Monday straight through to Friday. We're here from 10 till 3. Today we've got Suffolk Archives with us as well, our good friends who are running some free activity, some craft activity, some making some badges, and we've got a ton of free giveaways. So yeah, free books, free tote bags as well that say love your library, so people can grab a bag and fill the bag with books. We've also got some free art supplies as well for young people as part of the Holiday Activities Fund programme. The aim really is just to really engage with the community and bring the library out to the people. Sometimes people don't know about us or don't know where the library is, so we're trying to bring the library out to the people and let them know we're here for them, and that actually we're not just a book lending service, we're so much more than that now. We've got some really lovely other activity happening here at the Beach Hut this week. For example, tomorrow we've got a fitness instructor coming down to run some activity. So we've got Zumba on the beach, which is happening just opposite the beach huts here, and we've also got dancing on the beach happening. That's to promote our Jumpstart activity, which is part of our wellbeing programme at the library. So we're actually the only service in the UK, the only library service in the UK that have a dedicated mental health and wellbeing programme. And Jumpstart is, obviously where fitness is so good for your mental health and so good for your physical health, that's rolled into our wellbeing programme. So it's just a bit of a taster session tomorrow for people to see our Jumpstart programme and what we have to offer.
Well, we were making badges and magnets, and there were free books to get.
So what book have you got here?
It's a Beast Quest one.
And so you said you love libraries. What about libraries do you love?
Well, I usually go to the Yarmouth one. I like the best. Well, I basically like all of it. It's just a fun place to go.
And a free book. That's even better, isn't it? Mm-hmm. What about you guys? What did you enjoy about the pop-up library? Was it the colouring?
Yeah.
And did you make a badge?
Yeah.
And what have you got on your badge there?
And ice cream.
Yeah, I like reading the books mostly.
Would you like there to be more things like the pop-up library?
Yeah, I just like doing the badges and stuff.
I think the problem is some people just can't get into the library, and we were just walking along and just happened to come across it. So it's lovely for the children to be able to access something that normally I can't get to.
Do you think this should be a reoccurring thing to happen to Lowestoft?
Certainly, yes, yeah. I mean, I think if it was down here, I walk up and down the beach once a week. So if it was down here on a certain day every week, lots of other childminders I know in the area would be coming along and having a go. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. We've got such a lovely beach, and it's nice for other things to happen on the beach that children can come and join in with.
How wonderful is that? We're staying by the seaside in a moment. You'll never guess what's been spotted off the Norfolk coast. What a sight. A pod of bottlenose dolphins has been videoed swimming off the Norfolk coast by a drone photographer. I've got that story for you in just a moment or two. On to the roads then. I notice over at King's Lynn, the A149 Queen Elizabeth Way, actually as you approach the Knights Hill roundabout from Castle Rising, it's looking very, very busy. Very slow getting down to the Queen Elizabeth roundabout, and also heading from Queen Elizabeth roundabout through Gaywood to the centre of King's Lynn. That's looking busy as well. Just a quick scoot through the speed sensors. Then a little bit slow, A11 Norwich bound through the roadworks there by that's the Wyndham bypass there, but elsewhere not looking. Oh, my computer's just gone mad. Oh, that's right, I've got it guys, I've got it. On the A47 Acle Straight getting into town at Great Yarmouth at the Runham roundabout, that's that'll slow you up a little bit. And between the Halfrees and Gapton Hall roundabout, that's a little bit slow as well.
On Sunday breakfast, we take a look at the world of faith in Norfolk.
And there's cake.
We reflect the big events of the week.
And pies.
We chat to farmer Chris Skinner on High Ash Farm.
Don't forget the biscuits, Matthew.
Okay. And there is Jack's weekly recipe as well.
Well, there's all sorts, really, Matthew. We've got savoury recipes, sweet recipes, quick and easy
Join
recipes.
me, Matthew Gudgeon, Sunday morning from 6.
The Sound of Norfolk.
BBC Radio Norfolk.
I love this one, and there's a video for you to go and watch as well. A pod of bottlenose dolphins has been videoed swimming off the North Norfolk coast by a drone photographer. Chris Taylor was setting up when he noticed splashing in the water near West Runton. Now, he filmed about 10 dolphins who followed an eastern inshore fisheries and conservation authority boat for over an hour. Earlier, I spoke to Chris all about it.
Just got lucky, I think. I'm often filming up and down the coast. Most of my work is sort of along the North Norfolk coast, from all the way from Haysborough right round to Hunstanton. So I'm often on the coast, and I do a lot of drone work. So I was up on the cliffs setting up to get some footage from the drone, and noticed a rib just offshore and a lot of splashing around it, and thought that looks a bit unusual. So flew the drone over there, and as I got closer, the drone has got a 3x zoom lens on it, so I can zoom in a little bit, and suddenly realised there's fins in the water. I was like, this is incredible. It's been a lifelong dream to film dolphins from the drone, and to actually see them that close into the North Norfolk coast was incredible.
And watching the video, I mean, they just seemed like they were chilling out, just frolicking around. That moment, watching just nature doing what it does best, must have been a wonderful feeling.
It was just mind-blowing, yeah. It was, they weren't in a hurry to go anywhere. Apparently they'd followed the boat from Blakeney for around an hour, all the way to Cly, and then I think they sort of swam off. And as the boat got to Runton, they approached again, and they must have been hanging around the boat for about another 30 or 40 minutes, I think. And they weren't in a hurry at all. They were just looking at the boat, doing some tail splashing. Might have been some courtship behaviour going on from the flash of white bellies I saw occasionally from the drone underwater. So they were just very happy and very comfortable, and just being curious dolphins.
Any idea how many dolphins were actually there? Was it like 3 or 4 or more than that?
No, it's more than that. It's kind of hard to tell because they don't all come up to breathe at the same time. But it's estimated, it's around 8 to 10. I'm sure I counted 8 just by going how often they were coming up and breathing at one point, but there could have been up to 10, I believe. And I think it's thought there were, that many. So it's a good sized pod. I think the last time they were filmed off here was by a friend of mine, Henry Randall, one of the local fishermen, and he had 3 dolphins sort of follow his boat for a little while back in October 2020. So to see them offshore here is always a real treat.
Why do you think they were here? I mean, it's not very common to actually see them off the Norfolk coast.
It's not. I mean, my theory is that maybe they were following the huge numbers of mackerel we've had off the coast here this year, because we've had unusually high numbers of mackerel following the massive shoals of whitebait. People have been, there's been, I've been down on Weybourne Beach a few weeks ago, and there was probably around 100 fishermen there, and everyone was reeling in the mackerel. I mean, there's been massive schools of mackerel. So I'm sure dolphins follow the food sources. And there's bottlenose dolphin populations all around the UK. You've got the Cardigan Bay pod. They're up in the Moray of Firth, or is it the Firth of Moray? One of the two. Up in Scotland, you've got Dorset, Cornwall, South Coast. And then there's a new resident pod in Yorkshire as well, which is quite interesting. So there's a dolphin group on Facebook, or a cetacean group, and some people that are familiar with the Yorkshire dolphins were having a look at some of the stills I'd taken and looking at the fin patterns. You can identify the dolphins by the patterns and the scars and the markings on their dorsal fins, and they don't believe these are the Yorkshire dolphins. So, yeah, who knows where they've come from and where they're going, or how long they'll stick around. They may be off there right now.
And that was Chris Taylor speaking to me a little bit earlier on.
Goodbye, goodbye, we're leaving you, Skeletor. Goodbye, we wish you fun, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.
Yes, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. up with their rendition of Goodbye, and it's been absolutely spankingly wonderful 20 years or more. Thanks mainly to you for tuning in, as I mentioned before, actually paying my wages, and largely due to some of the wonderful people we've got in the studio. No, you really have been an absolute delight to work with all these years, and producer Sam and producer Paul looking after me. It's something I've mentioned. You've heard me say it. Doing news was a new one for me. David Clayton had a lot of your fault. You threw me into it. And without the sort of backup from people who, qualified journalists and newsreaders, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I know that if there's something difficult, something tricky, something that I need to know in the script, you'll tell me about it. Any tricky pronunciations, and you've been a right old hoot, Sam.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look, everyone's here for you.
Let's do
a roll call, shall we?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Yeah, I think you need to shout out your own names. Actually, something. Oh no,
Richard Pearce, not employed by the BBC.
Sam Day.
Andrew Turner.
Anthony Isaacs. Here, Sir Graham Barnard.
Paul Mosley.
Amy Numvula. Nanette Aldous. Courtney Yule.
David Clayton, I once ran the place.
Ben Punter.
Joe Dean.
Paul Hayes.
Thank you very much.
We've also got more people coming up. Come on, latecomers.
The show ended in chaos. Hello, Rob Butler. In fact, I think we can safely say there's slightly more people in the studio than actually listening to the programme at this point in time. Oh, just one more last time. I've just got to do. Elephant in the room. I promise myself, and I'm not going to. I promise myself that we all know what we're thinking about it all. We know how we're feeling, and it's pretty unanimous. So obviously, I don't need to echo all of that. So I wanted to leave just being exceedingly happy, pleased, and grateful for the years I've had here, the freedom I've had over the years. It's been amazing. Like One Foot in the Groove, for example, it started off, I think, as an hour, 90 minutes. 2 hours, 3 hours at a bank holiday, and this is something else. But people were phoning up and saying, "Can you do us heavy metal? Can you do us heavy rock?" And the woman I spoke to, I know in Sainsbury's, she said, "Oh, we'll have some death metal and Metallica. I love Metallica. Would you play that?" And Richard Hancock said, "Why don't we do a Warehouse Wednesday, all rave and dance hits from the late 80s into the noughties?" I thought we might be pushing it a little bit too far, but sure enough, people wanted it. And do you remember the woman who phoned up for Chrissy's show? They played Darude Sandstorm, and that's as big a rave as you're likely to get. And you may be listening now. You said. And a woman who was in her 80s, and she said, "Do you know, I was at my granddaughter's 18th birthday party at the weekend, big family do, and the DJ played that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and actually got up and had it on." And do not underestimate the listener. So I'm getting a little bit short of thank yous, and I don't want to get too emotional here. You see,
Stephen, let's say thank you, because you have been amazing. You're the best of the best. Okay.
Oh, no.
I know you're modest.
You need to get more.
Yeah, but no, seriously, you are absolutely class. It's been a joy to work with you.
I was going to say, am I easy to work with?
Yes.
Yeah, do you know, that's probably my last show and my last embarrassing silence on the radio. But now it's come to the last song, and I didn't want to be too cheesy with it. So what I thought I'd do is play you a little track from 1977, Frankie Miller and his band. It's called Be Good to Yourself. It's a good rock song, and lyrics you can understand, all the words, you know. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege.
To say goodbye, touch me deep inside. Baby, I hope it's not farewell.
BBC Sounds app. On your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Norfolk.
And on your radio.
The sound of Norfolk is
BBC Radio Norfolk.
6 o'clock, the BBC News for Norfolk with Matthew Gudgeon. Norfolk Police has apologised after they accidentally released personal information about victims of sex offences and domestic abuse. Details about the victims, witnesses and suspects were included in Freedom of Information responses in 2021 and 22. More than 1,200 people have been affected. Assistant Chief Constable Eamon Bridger says they tried to react quickly when they noticed there was an issue.
Once we became aware of that situation, we took immediate steps to react. We put in place a dedicated team of experts to fully assess and help us understand the complex data that was present. We took all reasonable steps we could to remove it from the public domain, and we then worked through a series of individual assessments on every single case to help us to prepare to be able to then make contact with those affected.
3 Bulgarians suspected of spying on the UK for Russia have been charged with having false identity documents, including passports and identity cards for 9 different countries. The 2 men and a woman are believed to have lived in the UK for a number of years, one of the men from Great Yarmouth. They've been remanded in custody. 6 former Metropolitan Police officers have been charged with sending racist messages on social media. The alleged behaviour of retired officers was uncovered in a report by Newsnight and later investigated by Scotland Yard's Directorate of Professional Standards. They're now set to stand trial next month. Black smoke was seen billowing from a wind turbine a mile and a half off the Norfolk coast today. Beachgoers at Yarmouth were shocked to see one of the turbines on the Scroby Sands wind farm on fire. It's been confirmed no one was hurt and the fire is now under control. David Young is one of those who saw what happened.
I went to go in for me swim and I noticed it was on fire at the top. It's now on fire at the bottom as well. No one's been near it, so I think it's gone down, if you see what I mean. That's where the smoke's coming out of the hole in the door, if you know what I mean.
RNLI lifeguards in Norfolk are urging people to ask them for safety advice rather than exposing themselves to danger. The county's beaches are quieter this year, according to the charity, but lifeguards have still been called to rescues. Anna Tolliday, the RNLI's beach lifeguard supervisor for Norfolk, says it's vital people ask for help and don't endanger themselves.
If you do see somebody who is in trouble in the water and they're in difficulty, if you're at a lifeguarded beach, go and get the lifeguards and they will conduct a rescue. If you're at a non-lifeguarded beach or you're at a river or a lake, the best thing for you to do is to call 999 and ask for the Coast Guard. So you should never put yourself at risk by getting into the water to rescue somebody else or an animal or anything.
Norfolk's cricketers narrowly lost their championship clash at Manor Park. Suffolk beat them by 13 runs. Norfolk's weather, light winds overnight, staying mainly dry though, lows of around 11. For an update anytime, ask a smart speaker to play BBC News for